Bro, awkward. Your Lies 12K guy should not be coaching Sig. Why not, bro? He's not focused on the right things. Or maybe he should be coaching Sig, but I don't think in that session he was talking about the right things. How did you even hear about this? Ugh. Okay, well, he was saying the whole time about focusing on rocks. It sounded like he wanted Gaming for Hope to rock every single time he saw an enemy player, which is like not true for how you should play Sig. Hop on call? Alright, bro, let's do it. Yo.
Yo, what's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Do you want me to put on a webcam so you can show your stream? So it'll be more entertaining?
It's alright, bro. I think I might just sit in the range.
Alright. So, why are you talking smack on my coaches, man?
I just told you, bro, because he's telling Gaming for Hope that he should be looking for a rock every second of the game. When somebody peeks him out of spawn, he should go for a rock. Like, that's what it sounded like. He should be rocking fortified Orissas. That's what it sounded like. And
okay, so wait. Let's start from the get-go. Are you a truthful person, or do you like to lie to your audience?
What do you mean, bro?
Are you a truthful person, or do you lie?
I'm a truthful person.
That's
I mean,
my
what is inclined that I'm a liar, bro?
No, I want to start from the get-go. You said Lies is a GM5 Junker Queen. Is that correct?
Okay, you know, maybe I love to exaggerate. Okay, I do love to exaggerate. Maybe he's hit GM1 on JQ. I don't know. Does he play still? I haven't seen him play the game in 2 years.
Yeah, so yeah, he does play. He's champion 4. Okay, put some respect on his name, man.
Okay, but he plays
rank.
Junker Queen.
He's at your rank.
Hey, he could be gold 3 if he gave some good Sig coaching. I would have no problem with it. He could be champ 1.
Well, if he was gold 3, he would probably not give good advice for the most part. You can agree with that, right?
Again, I like to, you know, use hyperboles and exaggeration, but yeah, but if he was like telling him the right stuff, I wouldn't mind. But like, it'd be harder for a gold player to understand that. So he probably wouldn't.
Right.
But regardless, I don't think the coaching was good. I don't really care what rank he is. I just don't think he plays much Sig, is what I was trying to get to.
Alright, so okay. So you said that, no, all seriousness, I didn't want to put you on the spot and just make fun of you or something like that. But in all seriousness, what I'm saying is that you said that you don't like the feedback because he kept telling him to just use his rock on cooldown, right? And you think that, correct me if I'm wrong, you said that a rock should be used with like a specific purpose. Because rock is a very strong cooldown, and you actually want to use it to either block strong cooldowns or capitalize of the fact that they don't have cooldowns to protect themselves, correct?
Yeah.
Would that be a fair statement?
Yep.
Okay. So the way we coach people is not like one-on-one traditional hourly coaching, right? I'll give you the context for it because it's important. The reason why we don't do a 1 hour coaching is because a lot of the times it's really hard to see in 1 hour what problem the person has, and more importantly, it's really hard to give a follow-up without him scheduling another one.
Yeah.
So we coach like on a monthly basis. We do a week-to-week coaching, right?
Yeah.
So when he got VOD reviewed before, when you look at the VOD, he simply did not use his rock at all.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. He used it like 6 times in like a whole like game.
Yeah. So when somebody does not use one of his abilities for super long, and by the way, I just want to preface this that I agree with you with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. But when you look at a person who never uses the rock, before telling him what's the correct way to use a rock, you have to teach him first to use the cooldown consistently. Whether he gets a lot of value of it or not. Because you're always going to get significantly more value than using a cooldown, even in a wrong manner, in comparison to never using it at all.
I'd like to challenge you on this. I think if you have a baby child that doesn't know how to speak, and you're trying to like teach him English, and you throw in some Spanish every now and then, he's going to get really confused and not speak English correctly. That's what we're teaching Gaming for Hope with these rocks. He doesn't know how to rock at all. So we're putting him where he's using these rocks in like ways that he shouldn't, so he's going to get used to doing that. And that's like when he's most prone to learning about how to use the rock. So I think at least when the coach was explaining it, he was saying that he needs to rock in a lot of opportunities where like the rock wouldn't have been able to do anything at all. Like the rock can't possibly even hit the character. And like that's what he was saying.
I didn't exactly understand your analogy. The way I would flip it, I would say what you're trying to say is how to pronounce a word correctly to a baby. You're teaching a baby how to announce words correctly before he can even speak. And what I'm saying is that you have to teach him how to make sounds with his mouth before you teach him how to make those sounds in a correct manner to make a concise sentence.
So why can't we just put him into a practice range and then tell him to spam the E button so he can use the rock more, and then we put him into the game and he uses it correctly?
It's not about using, it's not about hitting the cooldown, it's about using it. It's about getting into the habit of using it. And then when he receives coaching next week, now we can make the adjustment of, okay, this would be a better time to use your rock. Now you're, instead of spamming it every 24/7, okay, let's bait out the fortify and then use the rock. Or let the Ana nade or sleep and then use the rock. That's the way we teach. We teach on a monthly basis.
On the video, to me, it sounded like we were like waiting out Orissa's shield. Like he was still like recognizing cooldowns. He was like, wait out the Orisa shield, then use rock. But then the Orisa used fortify. So I think he was still thinking about cooldowns somewhat. And I don't know. There were different positions in the VOD where he was just telling him to rock like a soldier, where he would have killed the soldier with left clicks. Like, I know obviously you're telling me that he needs to be going for the rocks and just trying to use it more. But like the rock couldn't have possibly hit in the area that he was in. He was like walking down a staircase, and like you have to left click that. You can't rock it. You can't get the kill off of a rock. But I watched his game. I watched some of his VOD today for like 10 minutes, and he was playing Sig, and he was like doing kind of the same thing with his rocks, using it in positions where it couldn't hit anything. So I just wanted to make sure he wasn't like accustomed to using it incorrectly, and that he understood like how useful it is to have the cooldown and like when he should use it. Because obviously it is a good cooldown to use. He shouldn't hold it the whole game. The whole game, I agree. But like using it in those positions.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you that there's a correct way to use the rock, right? I agree with you. But before, as I said, before teaching the correct way, you have to learn. People have to learn, especially, you know, you speak from the perspective of how I would, like, I would use the rocks at level 10. I'm a champion player, this is how I use the rocks. But you have to understand there's like a very big gap between how you would use the rock and how somebody in Meta Ranks Diamond would use a rock. And of course you can tell them how to use them correctly, but there's so many problems until they get to the point that they know how to use the rock. So first off, they barely use the rock would be problem number one, right? Number two, you can say maybe they just use the rock randomly all the time. Could be another problem. Could be problems with position. Could be problem with shield usage. There could be many, many issues until they get to the point of playing in a perfect manner or like min-maxing every cooldown. That's what I'm saying. So I agree with what you're saying, but you don't just put somebody when you coach them and just expect them or tell them this is how you get to level 10. You first build habit that then you can correct into making the quote-unquote perfect play or using the rock correctly. You know, when you go to any type of sports, like let's say you go to a boxing gym, they don't teach you how to do combos before they teach you how to do a jab. So first, if you don't jab enough, you spam the jab. And then, until your jab is good, then you can just, you know, add a cross or like how to do the jab more correctly, how to time it correctly. And it's the same thing with the rock. We teach how to use the rock based on his specific needs, right? Not everybody has those problems. Some people spam the rocks, and then you can just then you can step in and say, this is how to use the rock more correctly, and it would be absolutely correct. And you are correct, but until to get to that point, there needs to be some, you know, you have to jump through levels before you get to the final level.
Do you not think it would be better, like, to teach him, especially because this is paid coaching, do you not think it would be better to teach him, like, the positions he should be putting himself in and have him focus on that so that it can open up opportunities on, like, when to use the rock? Like, maybe he'll just see better opportunities if he's in the right spot. Because I know when he opened up that game on Midtown, the first thing he did was he, like, looked at their soldier top left and threw a shield at him for, like, 3 seconds. When he should just be, like, shielding right in front of him, shooting their SIG. And then if he's shooting their SIG, he might see a better opportunity for the rock on the SIG versus, like, if he was just looking at their soldier top left for 3 seconds.
You're right. That's what you would do because you're a good player, man. Not everybody is like, has the same attention. They pay attention to the same thing. So most people just tunnel vision, especially tank. So easy to tunnel vision on tank, right? So you are correct, right? That's what he should have done. But you can't expect people in Diamond to play optimally, right? You kind of want to teach them good habits that will win them the vast majority of the games and then make adjustment based off of that. Okay, so let's say, just how I explained with the shield. So let's just say randomly, right? Don't quote me on that. But you want to use your shield when people shoot you, like people do a bulk of damage on you, right? Is this the correct play 100% of the time? No, right? It's not the correct play 100% of the time. But if you do it, most of the time you're gonna get value more often than not. And if you can get more value more often than not, you will win more games than you lose and rank up. And then when you rank up, you're gonna face more problems with the shield usage. And then you make the little nuance adjustments.
Yeah.
Right? That's the main point of how we teach, because the thing is, like, I've used to run a long time ago one-on-one coaching. The reason this like a monthly system or a week-to-week system is because you can follow up on people and correct their bad habits or build really good habits. But you can't jump from level 1 to level 10. You have to go through level 2, 3, 4 until 9 and then 10.
Yeah.
All right. And I by the way, as I said, I don't even disagree with what you're saying. You are correct. Like you are correct with how it should be played. But there's you have to build up the habits to execute it consistently. But you're also right that you need to teach people how to position. Well, of course, Lies has been working on it for a while. So Gaming for Hope actually joined us not too long ago. It was Plat. He was hardstock Plat for like 10 seasons. And he hit Diamond too. Now, granted, he dropped because he can't always be at your peak, but he's still in Diamond consistently. Because we've taught him good habits.
Well, I also would like to consider that rank inflation boosted everybody's rank by about 4 elos, but that's not to discredit the coaching. I just feel like that we've also got to put that on the timeline. But me personally, I feel like you could just tell him, like you could watch a VOD and see that he used Rock for 6 times in one game, and then you could just tell him like, hey man, you need to use your Rock way more. And then like that's all it really is. And then when you're like doing the live coaching or you're looking back at a VOD, then like I think from what I've seen from him, his #1 problem is that he like doesn't know where he's going, or he's shooting walls and he's just not that confident in his gameplay. So I feel like focusing on one of those things would be a lot more beneficial. But I'm not gonna tell you how you should run the Rank Up Academy. If you feel like focusing on using a cooldown is more important than having it.
Durpee, let me challenge you on that. Durpee, let me challenge you. Say you need to know where he's going and needs to have a little bit more confidence. Okay, practically how? It's like have more confidence. Forehead. It's like telling somebody shoot the head, bro.
Just like telling somebody to like straight line on tank.
What would you suggest? I'm a tank player. How do I play more confident? Then how do I know where I'm going?
I would just tell them like, just if you want to approach it the same way you approach the Rock, I would just tell him he should start like inting and like straight line down main and like fully trust that his mechanics are gonna get him kills. And obviously that's not how you should play it. You'll just like end up with a lot of deaths. But then you kind of teach him like, these are the cooldowns you need to wait out for until you can do that. These are the positions you need to mark. And then once you clear those angles, then you can walk up and do that. Or like that's when you start applying those things so that he can like time his aggression and get kills.
Yeah, but that's a general statement. That's it. Like that's it. He needs to know what angles to clear based on each map. Or are you gonna like tell him each map he needs to clear those specific angles?
Well, it is hard to do. Like it is like map dependent. It is like team comp dependent. What you're playing and what they're playing. But like I feel like that would be a really good use of like the time with coaching versus just like telling him like spam rocks when he sees a red person.
So you think it's a good idea to give somebody nuanced advice based on each map? That's a good use of their time in coaching.
I mean, like,
genuinely asking, it's not a.
I mean, I think you could. Okay, first of all, if you were to do that, I don't think live coaching would be, and you probably do like VOD reviews, but in the example is live coaching. I think if you were to do like a full VOD review and explain like, a map like Saravasa where there's a lot of different types of like map geometries and like high grounds, you could explain like, oh yeah, here because you're on this comp, like you can do this or you can't do this or you need to wait this out, and then maybe he kind of understands like more and more as he goes, because it generally applies the same. Like if you're playing against Ana and you have to wait out Sleep Dart, you'll probably have the same understanding eventually as if you go against like a Cassidy. Then you have to wait out Flashbang before you can like walk maybe, or you have to wait something else out. Like you're kind of, just because you're saying like wait out Sleep Dart on this one like example, it'll translate to him probably that like if he's playing against Roadhog he should wait out Hook, or if he's playing against Sig he should wait out Rock. He understands that he needs to wait out these cooldowns before going in, and then just like having him limit test and like walk down, like that will improve his mechanics. Having him just like walk it down main and like throw a rock at someone and like if he dies, he dies. Like, it's limit testing. I feel like it'd be more efficient.
But when you say wait out cooldowns, do you mean let me do something in order to force these cooldowns?
I mean, it's Diamond. They'll probably just throw it at a wall like 2 seconds into the fight. But yeah,
sure.
Once you get higher up, you'd probably have to force it out.
Okay, but you don't build habits based on a certain rank. You build the habits based on like how you don't teach bad things because they work at a certain rank.
I think the habit is
You
just that you're trying to wait out the cooldown. Like, even
right.
if in Diamond they just use it out the gates, then you can go in. But like, if you're playing a Grandmaster champ, like you're gonna have to do something to force it out.
But by the way, just what a tiny correction. Most of the people, especially in Diamond and below, actually underuse their cooldowns. They very rarely use their cooldowns. Just in general experience, you know.
Yeah, but I feel like if
But
the fight goes on long enough, like so they'll just use it. For
yeah,
no
yeah, but you
reason.
have to force them. In order for an Ana to use the nade, you have to do something before, like, in order for her to use the nade. Is that correct? You want to do something for a Cassidy to use his flashbang. You want to do something in order for a Reset to use Fortify.
Can
I
I
mean, if
get
you're
Hadi
saying
and
wait
ChrisTFer in the
until
call? They would like to join.
oh, of course, yeah, of course.
Okay, we've got a group
Good.
chat.
The more the merrier. But let's
Yeah.
not make it crazy fast. Yeah.
If it get crazy, we won't gotta do it. I'm down. But yeah, I'll get Hadi in here. I don't think I've ChrisTFer added.
Yo, Durpee.
What's up?
Durpee, you gotta tell your chat to chill. They want me to kill myself, bro.
Okay, well,
Come
my
on,
chat's
guys.
gonna type with
Well,
it, so I can't-
What's up? What's up? All the tank, fucking triple tank guys.
What's up?
What's up, everyone?
Got a podcast.
All the
everybody.
tank players are here, bro.
You know it.
One lose, one lose.
So have you guys been following on the
one lose.
conversation, or is this like a?
We've been following for like the last 2-3 minutes, and then we're hearing some stuff.
But I watched the video twice now. Twice.
The one he put out yesterday?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Listen,
We watched the rock video.
The first thing I need to say, okay, is live coaching is the single biggest waste of any human time in human history. Like, there is not a single bit of thing.
Agreed.
This is he's just getting confused while this guy's spitting facts at him while he's trying to focus on rocking, you know? Any coaching has to be done in VOD review. That's the first thing. Regardless of the content of the coach, I swear live coaching is an actual scam, in my opinion.
Okay, what's your argument for that? Because of
Because all he's doing is talking to him. The guy can't focus on shit because he's talking so much. You can't analyze anything that happened. Any mistake is just like, oh, you died? That was bad. Oh, you got a rock? That's all me, baby. I told you to use the rock. That's all it was. There's no way, if you've got 20 minutes of David Orr's time, which is precious, like a fucking super diamond, there's no way it's not higher value in a post-game review. Watch the
Probably-
game if you need to, and then review it. It has to be the way to do it.
Probably awkward. You also agree that like there's just games, like I always like to say 33% of games you just auto lost, 33% of games you auto win, and then if you're doing a live VOD you have like a 66% chance you have a user's game to review, you know, just wasting time with like minimum value.
well, I don't agree with that sentiment, by the way. The 30-30%.
You don't?
Stuff. No, I don't. If that was
I
the
mean,
case,
of
Hadi,
cour-
let me ask you.
I mean, okay, no. I know where you're going, okay? I know where you're going, okay?
Okay.
So if you're a fucking champ 2 player, of course you're gonna win 95% of games, okay? Till you get to a certain rank. But
Right.
I'm saying this perspective is for the rank player in their rank. You know, if you are
Right.
in your rank, if you're a diamond player, I think it's unreasonable to have above a 66 or 70% win rate. You know, that's what I think.
Well, is it likely? No. Is it reasonable? Of course. Of course, it's reasonable.
How
I've seen
so?
it happen many times. Because the thing is, why is there? So let's talk about your rank. Let's say you're champion, right? Would you
Yes.
be able to consistently win games in champion? When I say consistently over 66% win rate, based on your logic,
No.
why would that be the case? I agree
Because
with you. But why
sometimes
would
you
that be
just
the case?
lose. Sometimes you just
Right.
lose because enemies are good. They're on similar
Exactly.
skill level. The gap is not like high enough that you can do.
Right. Can you be significantly better than anybody right now sitting in top 10? Do you think it's possible?
Significantly, no.
Right. So you will never be significantly better than anybody in the top 10 because you're a top 10 player yourself. Because there's like a
Yeah.
ceiling to this too. You can
Yeah.
say there's a ceiling to the game, right?
Yeah.
But the thing about diamond players, why this logic doesn't apply, is because they can significantly be better than what their current
Yeah,
rank
but that's
is.
also
No,
that's
yeah.
also bollocks too, no? Because if
Right.
you think about your journey, awkward, when you were climbing any game, you never went to just challenger. You never went. I was diamond, and it was always a climb, right? Like every single person, even Quartz, you know, like he didn't just like, oh, I'm gold,
Yeah.
someone coached me, now I'm challenger. Every single person in human history, Cristiano Ronaldo, awkward, all of the goats, you know, all of the all-time greats,
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
they all had a climb, you know, like it was
Yeah, but
all. None
but
of it was
how-
just,
how-
oh, let's just play like. No, I agree with you that you can improve. But what
and I
Hadi's
agree
saying
with
is
you,
true.
but
Like
how
I
is
was the
that?
same in League of Legends.
I mean,
I went from
awkward.
bronze to
Yeah.
challenger, but it was always just step by step. You never skipped
right.
a tier ever.
Yeah, you don't skip tiers. Of course, it's a climb, but again, you can make good decisions that will lead the vast majority of games, and I've seen that happen hundreds, if not thousands of times.
Awkward.
Thousands.
I,
Yeah.
awkward. I can agree with you that you can like it can happen. You know, you coach somebody and then you figure out like two very important stuff that they're missing, and they get like a 70 win rate or whatever.
Mhm.
But you can realize that like live review is like
Mhm.
it has a way higher chance of having a waste of time than if you go you got a close game, you feel like nobody entered, you feel like something like didn't crazy happen, you didn't know what you could do. For sure, it's
Sure.
way better use
By
of
the way,
time.
listen. I don't disagree that VOD reviews are good. What we offer, by the way, or like offering, is 3 VOD reviews and 1 live coaching that you can swap it out to a VOD review. Just want to give context to that, right?
Okay, and
Live
that's
coaching.
good.
Okay, so live.
Do you guys do a VOD review of that map, or was it just live coaching and then end the call?
So the VOD review that we just asked to send an average game, whatever they prefer. It can be just an average game, not a stump, right?
But Chris
You
say
need
that
to review the
mid-town-
game. That midtown you have to review it too, because it's like fresh in both of your minds and you can go over it. I think that then I can argue there's value. But if you live coach and forget it, it's terrible, in my opinion.
So I'll tell you what the reasoning for the live coaching is. And by the way, I haven't really heard a compelling argument why live coaching doesn't exist besides, oh, he's talking while he's playing. I mean, most of the time, when the person is playing, we try to be quiet, right? And we just kind of reinforce the things that were a problem in his VOD review. So in context, for context, I don't know if you've heard, but when in the VOD review, Gaming for Hope did not use his rock in 20 minutes over 5 times. He used like his rock 5 times in 20 minutes. Would it be fair to say that's not a good way to use the cooldowns?
I mean,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Didn't I just see that in the VOD review, you mean? Or in the live
Yeah, in the
coaching?
VOD review before the
Previously.
live coaching.
Oh,
Previously,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
before that, right.
Okay.
So the live coaching is essentially we take what the problem is from the live coaching, we kind of reinforce that live. Use the rock, use the rock, use the rock, use the rock. Of course, if there's any other issues, we mention it. But you have to understand that people in Diamond have many issues. I think you can agree with that. Many issues. It's not 1 or 2. But if you tell somebody why there's shit in five different areas, it's not applicable. There's nothing they can do about it. It's too overwhelming. So we stuck to 1 or 2. We find the main issue, core issue right now, 1 or 2, and we tell them to focus on that. The live coaching is the extra focus, the extra.
Okay.
People tend. Let me finish. People tend to autopilot in their games. So when they come to live coaching, they have somebody to help them not get into the autopilot habit and repeat what they need to work on. That's all.
Do you think the coaching the guy gave a bronze player could have done? Just tell him to
No.
go rock and rock and
No.
rock?
No.
Was there any
How so?
expertise?
How so? A Twitch chatter could probably fucking tell me if he didn't see me use rock in like 2 minutes, use your rock, and then if I think he's smart, I will just use my rock of CD.
Because coaching doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes the simple answer is that maybe you're not using your nade enough. Dude, you haven't used your nade in 3 minutes.
Okay, so do you think
Or
that
you run in front of the tank.
that's his problem?
That's his problem. Because yeah, in the VOD review, that was his problem. The biggest one. He used 6 rocks in 20 minutes. Yeah, it was a huge problem. Yeah. Huge problem. That was his biggest problem, number 1, yeah. Does he have other problems? Sure, he does. But that's the biggest one at the moment. And once he uses the rocks, you can make the adjustment of how to use the rock correctly, or you can find another problems that happen after he fixes that mistake. Maybe he plays way too passive. You know, maybe he forces cooldowns, then he sits at the back when he should walk in. Maybe he's using the shield in the wrong way. Maybe his ult sucks. But you have to tackle things one at a time. You can't just drop on somebody. Like, I know you guys are really good players, and you guys can handle a coach telling you 6 different things. But you have to understand the average player cannot. The average player cannot. The average plat, diamond, even masters players, you drop 6 different things on them, they left the coaching session even more sad than they came to it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I still don't see any argument on the other side that these 25 minutes that my mate David had were better spent live coaching than the VOD reviewing. I mean, if it's his choice, it's his money, right? You know.
Yeah.
But I don't see any argument that he would have been better spending those 25 minutes on live coaching than a real review. Maybe it's better than doing nothing.
Also awkward. Like
Yeah.
with the argument you're making, like the thing is, I can see your argument in like an isolated frame of like, okay, let's say I'm on an Overwatch League team, okay, and I have ChrisTFer watch reviewing me, and he's like, bro, you gotta use your rock more, use your rock, okay, and here there's 2 hours of our time gone. It's fine, right? He's paid off on salary, right? Like he's paid to like coach me every single day. You know what I mean? But if you're having poor little David over here, right? Like he doesn't have a coach for him that's just getting like paid every like single day, not out of his pocket, right? So if you're using a time of a watch review to just teach one singular thing, are you not wasting people's time and money unless they have infinite resources?
So what you're saying, your argument, and let me understand it correctly. Just because the advice is pretty simple and straightforward, therefore it's a waste of time. So when somebody
It's not even straightforward. It was
but actually that's not what I'm saying, Orkut. I'm saying even if the advice is good, if you hammer in 1 point for 1.5 hours that you can probably put into 10 minutes
1.5 hours,
just...
by the way, but it is 10 minutes, but alright, yeah.
Okay.
It is 10 minutes, do you think it's an hour and a half?
Okay. Or if you have the point of go for the backline, play more aggressive, just forever, because that's what I'm noticing and in Gaming for Hope for the last 2 months, just go for the backline, go aggressive, you're getting cooldowns, you're getting picks, you're not walking. If you get that forever, every single session, and he's not improving his cooldown, he's permanently at 50 charge on Zarya, he's not using his right click anytime, surely there's a better use of money and time than any of this.
Hadi, I'll say something respectfully. Before joining us about 2 months ago, Gaming for Hope has went through plethora of coaching, many, including yourself, Hadi. He was hard stuck plat, could not move. As soon as he joined us, within a month, you can ask him, you can just add him to the call if you like. His rank skyrocketed from plat all the way to diamond 2. Peaking diamond 2. As soon as he joined us. So he was hard stuck 10 seasons, plat, didn't move, barely touched diamond. As soon as he joined us, rank skyrockets to diamond 2.
The coaching could be good, but the 25 minutes we watched was not. Like the rest of it could be good, you know.
And your argument and I'm asking again, ChrisTFer, your argument for that is logical argument, not he's saying a bunch of words and I'm just trying to focus. Yeah.
Wait, why is that not logical?
Because he's trying to hammer down things that were already told to him in the VOD review. It's not randomly saying things. He's not saying 50 million things at once.
Okay.
Hey, man,
it's also not true, Awkward, because there's tons of times he's saying rock, and it was an awful time to rock.
Sure,
and you could see little David's face. He was getting so because the fucking.
You're right.
And he rocked into the shield.
ChrisTFer, the idea is not to have each rock perfect. The idea is first to teach person how to consistently use the rock, that they need to consistently use the rock.
He didn't do that at all, no?
Wait, no, ChrisTFer, that's what I'm telling you. He did not use the rock at all, ChrisTFer. He used the rock 5 times in 20 minutes. Do you understand that absurd number? Do you realize that he's basically playing with the handicap as if he doesn't have the E button? Do you understand that?
I understand, but he wasn't taught at all how to use the rock correctly. He was taught just to spam that shit.
But ChrisTFer, if you learn, if you play football, right? Before you teach a person that he needs to kick right at the 90-degree corner of the goalpost, you have to teach him first how to kick the fucking ball. And you tell him, kick the ball like 100 times into the net. It doesn't matter where it hits. And then you teach him, listen, now try to aim at the top right corner of the goalpost. You don't teach people that don't know how to kick, aka don't use the rock, how to throw the rock in the best way possible. That's the idea.
Bro, but this is Overwatch pressing a button. It's so much easier than kicking a football.
Yeah,
and also,
surely we can get a tiny bit of like nuance into using the rock. Like users see a character on the screen, use your rock. Like he used like his rock 20 times into a Ryan shit. He uses this when he has to carry his life. Your coach is telling him to push when he's down 1 with spawn advantage instead of just playing Sigma range. Your coach is telling him when there's 5 players in front of him, a Ryan Bastion, to push when he's playing Sigma versus Ryan and he can play space. Like, I just don't think, like, there must be a tiny bit of context that you can say, yo, you can rock the Sigma shift, by the way. By the way, if you're playing the Sigma versus Sigma, enemy Sigma has flux. If you're using your rock aggressively, at least be aware of the flux or save
No.
your rock for, like, surely we can implant a tiny bit
Do
of
I think you're
nuance.
wrong? Hadi. Do I think you're wrong? No. The thing is about the nuance is it's for players like you who understand the full picture. People in Diamond don't understand.
he's not-
No,
Okay,
bro,
David,
you
calm me
cannot
down,
coach.
guys.
Listen.
David,
Wait,
when
one by one. Which one is speaking? One by one,
listen.
guys. One by one, guys.
Let me. Okay, surely you're saying it's for people like me with nuance, but whenever I coach a champion player, I don't have to tell them that enemy Sigma has a shift button and I have to rock him. Surely that's some suitable advice for a Diamond 2 player. Like, I really don't think that's like bad advice for somebody like almost
listen,
master.
Hadi.
Also, like
Yeah.
when you're saying, okay, my mate Gaming for Hope, he just climbed from like Platinum 2 to Diamond 4. That's like 4 rank division in 2 months, in 2 whole fucking months of like getting consistent.
1 month.
Okay, in 1 month of getting consistent coaching with what you probably know, a huge rank inflation coming out in the last patch where every player has climbed a rank.
Hadi, first of all, I don't know about any rank inflation, but there have been many.
You don't know
Everybody
about
did,
rank
bro.
inflation? Oh,
Wait,
God, come on,
Jenny, I don't. Wait. Jenny, I don't. Second thing is that there have been many instances where there was a rank inflation.
Awkward.
Many
Can you pull up my
instances,
live
and
stream,
it was
please?
still. Yeah. What?
I'll
again?
show you rank inflation. I'll show you. We'll look at the tank.
No,
leaderboard.
I don't know about
In
it. I
season
believe
9,
you
there were
if there is
9
a
champ
case.
5s.
Yeah,
Let's go to
with that I know.
season
With that-
19.
Wait, listen. Wait,
There are
pause.
20 champ 2s. There are 30 champ 3s. There's 50
It's
champ
the
like
4s.
argument.
on
The argument,
and
dude.
there's
Listen, the
100
argument is
champ
I'm not.
5s.
Your ladder
yeah.
last season, there
If
were like
you want to have a conversation,
130
guys, you can
champ
talk about each
tanks,
other.
mate.
Hadi, I let you speak. I let you speak for like 2 minutes.
Okay, I
and you
will
let
let
me
you
speak.
speak. I will
I'm
let
not,
you speak.
I'm not arguing that if there's a rank inflation or not. It's not my argument. I personally don't see it because I don't put high focus on it. But there have been many instances where season had rank inflations. My point is he was still stuck back then, and his rank was still not inflated. So, what is the difference now? Now it's
The
super
rank
inflated. Is
inflation
that like it's now it's super inflated? Now it's like hyperinflated.
I mean, yes, it gets more inflated every season, like of
Because
Durpee's
that your logic that he
right?
stays plat would mean when the seasons when there is inflation, he gets worse to stay plat. That would be your argument, right?
What? Again, can you repeat that?
Okay, sure. You're saying okay in the other seasons, let's say season 12 had rank, that was a rank inflation one, and he stays plat. Then your logic would be that he must have got worse that season to stay plat, right?
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, but
No,
that's
but
the
it must
logic,
be,
no?
right?
It's the
It must
logic.
be, right?
If the reason
Yeah.
he stayed plat during inflation was because he didn't have rank up academy, he must have got worse.
No, I'm not speaking about in the context of Rank Up Academy or anything like that.
No. Understand? We're doing
Ask the
logic
question
pill
again.
here. Okay,
Sure, let's
okay.
do a logic pill
So
here,
your
yeah.
argument was the first season that David hit Diamond was this season, and Hadi's argument is it's because of rank inflation, or at least partially.
Okay.
And you said rank inflation has happened in the past and he hasn't gone up. That means in those seasons when rank inflation's got up, he must have been getting worse, right?
Either worse or stayed around the same.
Well, no. If he stayed the same, he would have.
Well,
he would have gone up because of
it depends on how
inflation.
big it depends on how big the inflation is. If everybody directly one rank up, then
Unless
yeah.
David is
If
inflation proof, he's like he's got that G in his gravitational pull keeps him where he is.
ChrisTFer, but you have to show the argument that people there, like every single person in Meta rank went out like from plat 5 to diamond 5, right? Can you demonstrate that?
You don't. That's for sure a logical fallacy, no? Like for sure, if you
How is that
can
a logical
just
fallacy?
okay, listen. If you can just recognize a trend, it doesn't mean only just from recognizing a trend that every single player must have ranked up, right?
Hadi, do you know what the
if
logical fallacy is? How is that a logical fallacy, bro?
No, because you're saying
you know what?
Okay,
define
yes,
logical,
okay, listen.
define
Okay, listen.
logical
You don't
fallacy.
need me.
Let's start with
Okay,
that. Define
listen.
logical
Okay,
fallacy first.
listen. You don't need to fucking try to smart check me, okay? Because I will just like deprove your point like that.
That's what
No,
you did,
no.
and I just brought it back
Yes,
to you.
because
You don't know what a logical fallacy is, and you said I'm
be-
using a logical fallacy.
Okay, don't call me fucking stupid, okay? I'm being
didn't call you
respectful to
stupid.
you. No,
I
you
did.
are
I'm not
indirectly
calling you
calling
stupid.
me stupid, okay?
I'm not calling you stupid.
Okay. Shut up for a minute, okay? So,
Alright.
when you're saying it's a logical fallacy, okay, or your logic is flawed, whatever
said
you want to
that.
call it.
You said
Yes.
that.
Yes,
You said that.
that's what I'm. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Let me speak. I'm saying
Alright.
your logic is flawed because, like, if I can recognize a trend and say that rank inflation exists, and I can prove it by checking that the champion players are going up, I'm recognizing a trend. I don't have to prove that every single player has ranked up because, like we
Of course
said,
you do.
no, I don't, because
Yeah, you do.
people
You
can
have to
get.
demonstrate.
No, I don't. No, I don't, because.
You don't have to. You don't have to prove that there is rank
Yes,
inflation.
I
when
tell
say
you
there's rank
what.
inflation.
No, I said I already proved that rank inflation exists because I can recognize a trend. Okay, that's proof
So-
enough. Because, but listen, let
Yeah.
me finish my point.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because people can get worse at the game or not play an appropriate amount of time.
Mhm.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does make sense, but you're
Right.
what
So
you're saying-
so not every
Yeah, but-
player can rank up because they don't play an appropriate amount of time to benefit from the rank inflation, or they get worse, so their rank doesn't get inflated.
Sure, but you can't say that your proof is like maybe 100 people in champion got to a higher rank, right? That's not proof. You have to look at people, you know, like at the average curve, and say, right, and say plat people have moved up to diamond. Can you demonstrate that? Can you say that people who were in season 8 were plat 5 in rank 9 just immediately jumped to diamond 5? Can you demonstrate that? It's a simple yes or no question.
Oh, yes. Off of Blizzard statistics.
So please demonstrate that.
Yes, off of Blizzard statistics, you can see that consistently the player numbers in higher ranks, Diamond Masters, is trending upwards, not downwards, not staying the same. That's how you can prove that rank exists.
Right, but I would agree with that stat. By the way, I would agree with that stat. However, it's a stat that goes up through 20 seasons of rank, not one season of rank. People don't randomly go from plat 5 to like diamond 5 in like 2 days because of a season.
No, but nobody is saying that, okay? You want to know what logical fallacy you're applying this entire argument? You're creating strawmans. You're creating strawman after strawman after strawman.
Explain the strawman, please.
Okay, I will explain the strawman argument to you, okay?
Yes,
You are
yes.
misrepresenting a point that is being made. You are not arguing against me, you're arguing against an imaginary person that you're trying to defeat. That's what strawman argument means. You are actually not arguing against me, because I'm not saying that a player goes up one whole rank in 2 days. I'm saying when there's a rank inflation, people rank up. Like my mate Gaming for Hope ranked up 4 tiers because of inflation and because of coaching that you're giving him. Obviously, your coaching has some sort of value, right? I'm not denying that. It's not totally useless. If he's not using his rock, okay, of course you have to tell him a rock and he can win games over that. That's not what I'm saying. That your coaching is useless. But I'm saying for a month of coaching in a rank inflated season that you can prove off of statistics that we get publicly available, I can tell you that most players.
Can you please send me over the statistics to show that everyone? But dude, you're saying there's proof statistics. All I'm asking you, don't you think it's a legitimate request? Send me the statistic that shows that within.
Yes.
Wait,
okay, but
Hadi, I let you speak, man. I let you speak, bro. I let you speak.
Okay.
Between season 19 and season 20, there was a jump of almost 1 rank across averages. Can you show me that statistic? You said it's publicly available. I can't find it. Don't you think it's a legitimate request that you say you have proof and ask you, show me the proof?
Okay, let me check. The thing is, I don't.
Thank you.
Yes. The thing is, I don't come into the debate prepared like you know? I just come and I go.
Do you think I sit here with fucking notes, bro? What are you talking about? Do you think I have statistics?
but you're asking for a burden of proof when like you will know when you.
Hadi,
no,
welcome to debates. Okay, asking for burden of proof, bro.
Yes, but
I ask you for proof for what you're saying. Correct. That's the debate.
Yes,
man.
okay. I give you statistic right now, okay? Very easily that I just got. Go into the leaderboard, press tank, press Europe. Season 17, 43 champs. Season 18.
What we're talking about Gaming for Hope, by the way, is not season 17. We're talking between 19 and 20.
but I'm proving the concept of rank inflation in the first place.
I didn't disagree with that. I didn't say there was no inflation. I didn't say there was no inflation. Hadi. I said.
Yeah,
that,
but you
that the
said
gaming for
quote
rank
unquote.
between
I
season-
don't know anything about inflation. That's what you said, quote unquote.
No, I said I don't know anything about this season's inflation. I said I admitted there was in season 9 there was inflation. I admitted that. I said that. I'm not denying that there is no inflation. I said it many times. I don't deny that there's inflation and the trend is upwards. What I'm asking you, you say there was a big jump, right? You're saying
Yes.
gaming for home was flat a season ago, and now he's consistently holding diamond, peaking diamond 2. You say
I have
it's because of
evidence. I have
inflation.
evidence. I'll be putting in the group chat. The first
Send it
link
over.
is going to
Thank
link
you.
you to a
Thank you.
2024 post October 2024. You can see most players are gold. The second link is going to link you
Unfortunately,
to.
Again,
Durpee, listen.
Durpee.
Unfortunately, Durpee, this is
Continue.
not for season 20. Awkward is only currently.
Well, this is going to
Yes,
show you
yes.
one
for
6 months ago. This is the
720.
latest we have,
Because
and this
that's
is going
not
to
my
show you that there are
argument,
suddenly
Durpee.
more platinum players than
Durpee,
gold players.
Durpee, my friend, you're not. That's not the argument. Is
But
not
would you
if there is
expect it if it was
inflation or
going
not.
upwards to randomly go down when we've only seen throughout Overwatch 2 that rank inflation has trended upwards? Nobody
Yes,
has ever
Durpee.
said there's a rank deflation.
Bro.
I know you're active on Twitter, Awkward. I know you see people talking
please
about rank
tell
inflation.
me what my argument is, Durpee? Can you tell me
Oh,
what
no,
my argument
okay,
is? Let's start with that. Let's make
Durpee,
it
I
easier.
got
Let's make
this
it
one
easier.
for you. I got this one for you, Durpee. Okay. His Awkward's argument is that we now need to prove to him that rank inflation happened in season 20, and obviously you're in a
between season
and
19 and,
yes,
and a bit
yes.
in one jump in rank, one jump, one.
Nobody said
the one
okay.
rank.
First, nobody said one. Okay, if you can look back in the vote, nobody said that. Again, another strawman. Okay, I just said people's rank went up.
That's
and
by
it's
the way,
going
strawman.
up.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the thing before is also a strawman. This entire fucking argument is a strawman. Okay,
Alright.
but second of all, of course you're in a very nice position right here because these Blizzard developers adding the challenger scores, so it's very hard. It's way harder to prove who's like higher rank, champ 2, champ 1. But I can just tell you that the numbers of champ 2, champ 1 has gone up this season, and nobody will deny that. Nobody will deny that who's following
I
the
don't deny it
competitive
either.
space.
Hadi, I
Okay,
don't
so
deny it
now
either.
you have proven it. In season 20, there's more champ 2 players and more champ 1 players. What does that mean? Have people improved or no?
Well, number one, yes. Number two, it could mean many things. It doesn't mean just one thing. But let's just talk about specifically the inflation that you're referring to. Okay, let's talk about the inflation you're referring to. I want to again present my argument, and I want to say it again.
Before we talk about this anymore, I would like to debunk the idea that he was platinum last season. He's been diamond for a few seasons. I would like to debunk that he went up.
Fact check.
If we want to pull up the VODs 8 years
okay.
ago to find out, we can do that.
8
but he
years
was.
ago.
Okay, again, oh my
You
god,
know
I gotta
what?
stop using hyperbole.
Okay,
If we want to pull up the VODs a couple seasons ago, we could prove that he was diamond back then.
Is Gaming for Hope available? Would you like to invite him here?
Gaming for
Let's
Hope.
see, no,
Is he available? Of course, David.
I would do anything for David to be in this
But
call.
I'd imagine he's...
I will invite
There's
him.
no way he's on.
So
He's not on. He's offline.
either way, you know, let's just that's what he's been telling us at least, or in the videos, right? He's been a hard stuck plat for 10 seasons, and when he joined us, he speak diamond 2, right?
Wait, there
now
must
he's
be a way.
diamond
Yeah,
three.
because his
yes,
journey.
yeah, because
you can
he-
find
yeah,
out he would have made a YouTube video the day he hit diamond, no?
And also because it benefits him because he got that cheek.
Chris. Yeah, sorry, continue, Hadi. For sure, kind of go, bro. Go ahead.
Okay. First, I say, Durpee is for sure right. He has hit diamond in the past before joining Rank Up Academy, or at least before a season ago. That's 100%. That's 100% correct. Second of all, of course, he wants to plug his. He wants to say the Rank Up Academy is very good because in the start of the video he plugs his referral code, you know, so he got something to gain from it as well.
Sure. But
If you
he,
want your
he
diamond
was
tank-
making videos about it before referral code. I just decided
It's
because
true. It's
if he,
over 2 months since he's been diamond. It's actually 3 months since he's been diamond.
Yeah,
so
that's
actually
pretty-
an
that's-
insane fact check from Durpee.
wait,
That's coming
wait.
There's
insane.
a video
Chris,
7 months
Chris.
ago that said he was a diamond
he
tank.
what did I say? When did he join us? What did I say?
A season
I
ago.
don't know.
I saw he joined us about 2-3
said-
months ago. That's what I've
you
said.
said-
Yeah, but your argument was this
I don't think
season.
that's what you said. I don't think that's what you said.
Yeah, I agree.
I
What
think
did
you
I
said.
say? Yeah.
I think you said a month ago. I think you said that multiple times in this discussion.
No,
you
I-
mentioned
I-
what
I-
Because
yes,
why were
I
you
pre-
specific?
I-
Wait, no.
yes.
Hadi, I got this easy. So why were you
Yeah.
asking for proof in the last season rank inflation? Why were you asking for that proof?
When the season has been
Because you-
going for
because
one
you-
and a half
because you're
months,
the-
and we no, when the
But he was
season has
already
been
diamond.
going for one and a
He was
half
already
months.
I would
diamond.
like to answer. Wait, you guys
on.
want to talk
Yes,
together,
yes,
or would
yes,
you like to
yes,
go
of
back
course,
and forth?
of course. No,
I
got you.
asked. I asked about proof of inflation last season, or you can give me season 18 to 19. Give me proof from any recent season, because we're talking
Yeah,
about
okay.
last season. You want to give for 18 to 19? Sure.
Yes,
You want
yeah,
for
yeah, that's-
17 to 18? Sure, you can do that. But
Okay,
what I said,
yeah,
Gaming for Hope
we
has
have
been
it.
with us for two. Oh, what's up, David? You're the man of the hour.
No way.
What
Hello.
is happening right now? I just randomly, I'm in my literal living room and like phone's going off with a Discord call. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
Okay,
and
so-
then I
so
see
Chris-
this like dangerous blunt rotation of awkward ChrisTFer, Durpee, and Hadi all in a column like this. I am missing something. Okay, give me context. What am I missing?
You know, 3 tank mains against 1 support main. That's the context. But
All right,
mean, no.
David. I need to ask. Before we discuss. We need to ask a few questions. Okay. When did you first hit diamond, and how long have you been there? And then, like, what's your actual trend in rank been across? We'll go 1 year. The last 1 year history, please.
1 year? I mean, it's been plat to diamond. That's been.
Yeah. But when did you hit diamond?
God, I don't know. I'd have to look. I don't even know.
Was it that long ago? Was it, David? Was it that? No, quit. I'm interrogating the witness.
Because you're misconstructing the argument right now, Chris. Can you agree that hitting a peak and not maintaining is not the actual rank? Just because he hit like diamond 5 and then dropped to plat doesn't make him a diamond player? Would that be fair to say?
Well, then we can
let
ask
me
that
ask-
question too. Yes,
Okay,
but
so
we
let
can
me
ask that.
let me ask the question and tell me if it doesn't represent my
I'll tell you.
argument.
Don't worry. Okay, I'll tell you.
David, since you have joined Rank Up Academy, would it be fair to say that you consistently maintain a rank that was above what you joined with?
Yes.
Yes, Chris.
Okay,
what
but
is your
awkward.
argument, sir?
Awkward. Let me hit with something. Has anyone said in this entire argument again? You're trying to disprove a point that nobody has made. Has anyone ever said that
Yes,
your
Chris is
coaching
trying to make
service
that
is
point. And I didn't say
useless?
that.
No, I
Nobody
don't
made that,
think.
Nobody made that argument, and I
I
didn't
Here's
make
what
that argument.
No,
I'll make
that's
the
not what
argument.
I'm
I'll tell you what my argument is. I'll tell you right now,
Yes.
okay?
So wait,
my
we
argument.
just asked. Can you please respond to David saying a simple yes to my question? How is my question incorrect? Please explain that.
Well, because
What?
your argument, the one that you said verbatim back in the day, was that specifically, why did he climb from plat to mid diamond in 1 season? Because of ranked up academy. But the point we're proving, which is that
Okay.
which is
Yeah, go, yeah,
almost
go.
almost undeniable, although I'm sure you'll give it a good go, is that actually Gaming for Hope's rank trend is probably actually on the dot of rank inflation.
On the dot and rank inflation between
Yeah.
what he. So let's just make it a little bit easier for like everyone to understand.
Okay,
Right.
I hope it's easier.
What was the so when you joined Rank Up Academy, if I'm not mistaken, season 18 or 19? Is that correct, David?
Say your question again. I'm sorry. There was a lot going on there.
You joined Rank Up Academy at season 18, 19, approximately around that
It was
time.
October is when I started. Yeah.
So
wherever that
season
would've been
18,
season-wise,
yeah.
yeah.
I think yeah, fair to say season 8. I think season 18. So what was your average rank where you spent the most amount of time in when you joined in October? By the way, October was about 3 months ago.
I'm actually looking right now. I booted up the game. I'm looking at my career profile as we're talking. I'm looking all the way from season as far back as season 12 so far, and the peak is Diamond 5.
The
but
peak is
what
Diamond
season-
5.
okay,
The
what
peak is
season-
Rob, that's
And
not
what
looking
was-
good for you.
what-
Chris, not looking good for you, man.
No, it looked
What?
brilliant for
How?
me,
Wait,
mate.
It's looking
wait.
really good for what?
I'm loving this information.
What? I think you're
in
misunderstanding something here, my mate. Awkward. I think it's looking really good for my mate ChrisTFer's argument.
Okay, so please explain that, Hadi. How does that look good for?
Okay,
for,
no, I'll
for your
explain it.
Because-
I can do it
yeah.
easy.
Sure,
Okay,
yes.
so in season 12, David, what's your current peak? Diamond 2?
we talked
David?
about season 18. What do you mean season 12?
My
Yes,
current-
but he talked about season
The
12.
current peak is the question, correct?
Yes, that's current peak.
Current peak is Diamond 2.
Okay, so
Okay.
across, and you said season 12, your peak was Diamond 5, right?
Yes, that's the first time I
Okay.
picked Diamond 5 in season 12.
Awkward. I would bet my left nut right now that if you were to trend rank inflation, Diamond 5 peak to Diamond 2 peak is on the dot. Like you could
1 billion percent.
not-
I'm putting my
it
right
could-
nut on it as well.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll put both of them on the line right now. No problem. Okay.
Agree,
Hold on.
agreed.
I guarantee like if you were to graph it, they are identical.
Okay. The question that I've asked, Kim, and let me ask you the same question again. Let me ask the same question again. When you joined us in season 18, what was your peak and what was the average rank that you were at consistently? At season 18, not season 12, season 18. Season before you joined, where did you spend the most amount of time and what rank? Season 18, not 12. 12 was about a year and a half ago.
Season 18.
Before you joined.
Before
So
I
let's say
joined, it
season
was right in the middle.
17.
Okay, I think that's fair. Season 17, I spent time in high platinum. It was plat 3 to 1,
Right.
bouncing consistently.
Plat 3. And
Yep, 3 to 1.
spend, and now you consistently jump between Diamond 4 and Diamond 2. So can you please demonstrate, Chris, that in the past 3 months there has been such an inflation in the past 3 months, not since season 12, right? Season
Why
17
not?
in the past.
Why not since season 12?
Can I
Because
jump
that's
in
not
on
relevant
this
to
and
the
ask a
argument.
question?
Of
Sure.
course,
Uh-huh.
of course.
I'm
Of
just gonna
course,
ask.
David, you're the man of the hour, man.
I don't know about all that, but season 15 is when they made changes, isn't that correct? Where they made the changes to the upper 3 ranks,
Yes.
where they
Yeah,
redistributed a bit.
you're exactly right, David.
Hold on.
No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you're exactly
Stick with me.
right.
Stick with me. I know. I'm with you. I'm with you guys, but I'm just trying to collect the information so that I understand what's going on. So, with that redistribution, we have now talked about 2 different seasons that are not actually relevant, strictly speaking, to season 12. Basically, anything before 15 wouldn't be relevant to the argument of whether or not my rank is inflated, which is what I'm starting to get the understanding is the argument is not necessarily.
Ooh.
No, kinda, yes. No. That's not entirely correct because rank inflation has been trending up because of the Blizzard statistic that Durpee has shown for the entirety of the game's existence. But since season 15, the inflation has been even more. You know, it's like a Trump economy type shit. You know, inflation. if you look at the big graph, it has always happened and it will always happen. But since season 15, when my big man Trump came into the office, it has been going on a crazy path.
I'm not sure the relevance there, but I
Yeah.
will say I will listen, I'm not saying I support the guy entirely, but I'm not sure how that's relevant to Overwatch. But
Look, listen, Chris, you have to. If you say ooh to me, you have to do it to Hadi as well. That's not fair. If you just do it for me.
No, I'm on Team Hadi. We're like the
No,
big
but
opponents.
come on,
you
man.
know?
You guys
no.
are 3. You guys are 3 and I'm 1, man. You gotta give me something.
Yeah,
here.
but now it's a
can
3
I
versus
ask,
2.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna ask
it's
another
a 3
question. I'm
versus
just gonna do it.
Go on, David, ask.
The question I'm trying to understand, because I know you guys have intentionally been avoiding to reveal to me the argument.
Okay,
so that
okay,
I don't
I can explain
accidentally
it.
jump.
No.
But hold on, I think I actually know.
Yeah. Okay.
I think what you guys are asking is whether or not Rank Up Academy is actually responsible for my transition out of Platinum into Diamond. Is that the question?
Well, the main reason this
but
whole
that's
VC
actually-
started
yes.
was off of the live coaching video that you put out.
Yeah, it was the live
yesterday,
coaching specifically.
and we disagree
the
with the
other
coaching.
3 of us believe that that 25-minute video you put out on the Sigma Rock was like incredibly useless. But we don't know the quality of like the VOD review coaching, so it's possible, right? Like it's possible that you've improved.
Right, there's
the
always
VOD.
context. Sure.
Yeah, but what we're saying is that specific, that live coaching, when we watched it, obviously as like pros or coaches or whatever, we felt that that was actually a really poor investment of your time and money. That's what we felt. We felt that, yeah, it
Okay,
would have been
so-
better doing something else.
Would it be okay if I provide the context to the VOD coaching previously?
I did, but
It's-
you
yeah,
can. Yeah,
it's
sure.
yeah, 5 rocks in 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, some stupid thing. It was definitely not
Yeah.
used. But I do think, because Durpee and I talked about this briefly yesterday, which I'm sure has already been brought up, and he made a good point that I think that there is a balance here where this oversimplification of the advice of just use rock more often is definitely a valid criticism. But I think the follow-up to that is using them more, you start seeing when you do and do not get value from using them versus not using them. You know, if I'm using one every 4 minutes, that inherently is less opportunity to see when they work better and when they don't work better. If that makes any sense.
No, I don't think we necessarily dispute the idea
Okay,
that you needed
okay.
to use rock more often. It's like what we really tried to get to the bottom of was whether or not you needed a coach in there for 25 minutes to say rock there, as opposed to just you telling yourself I should rock early. You know, like what would the tangible difference considering you're paying someone to be there? That's our argument.
Sure. So let me make sure I understand, because I think I do, but I want to be sure. If I'm understanding what you're asking correctly, it is whether or not I need an outside perspective. Particularly, you think you specified paid outside perspective.
Well, yeah.
To identify whether
No. To identify. The identify is rank up academy good. They identified a weakness. The argument is that across that Midtown game, when I think like he's talking a lot, like he's in your ear and he's constantly reminding you need to rock. The question is, are you getting value for money from that coaching? Are you tangibly better after that 25 minutes, as opposed to the VOD review where he identified the problem of rock? You know, like the identification point, I think everybody agrees was beneficial for your rank. Like you had a problem, and the coach, I don't know his name, improved it. The question was, did you need that 25-minute follow-on session where he just said to you, yapping and then saying rock? Do you know what I mean?
Especially
when some of the examples were wrong.
Yes, exactly. Some of the examples were wrong, and to jump in, don't you think your coach could have just told you off of that VOD review that you guys had, yo, David, now what you gotta do is just spam rock every time. You will get more value, plus you will figure out when it's good to use versus when you're not getting any value? Like in a Discord DM, instead of telling you for 20, like at least in a Discord DM, instead of just telling you for 25 minutes into your ear during a game, rock, and not even pointing out at all when it was a bad rock, when it was a good. No, I'm saying this amount of value that you gotten in those 25 minutes could have just be a Discord DM of, yo, I want you to always spam rock off cooldown.
Agreed. Can I ask the question in a different way, what they're asking? Correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, what they're saying, is there not better use of your time in terms of coaching? Is that what they're asking? I think that's what they're asking.
Like if you were to get coaching, well, I guess you can ask, what do you feel more beneficial to you, David? Do you find the VOD review stuff, or do you find the live coaching better?
I don't think that it's a format issue. I don't think it was a format issue. I think that it's I think it goes a little bit...
Wait, David, I have to pause here for a second. Chris, when did I make the argument that live coaching is somehow superior to VOD review?
No.
Okay, so why are you presenting the argument as if that's my argument?
Well, so what should the argument be then? What's the best way? Is it value for money?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I said that we present 3 VOD reviews, and live coaching can switch to a VOD review at any time.
I agree with that.
You can do whatever you want. I think that so I told you what the benefit of live coaching was, in my opinion, right? And based on our experience, is that sometimes people tend to autopilot. Just because you tell somebody to do something doesn't mean they're necessarily going to do it. If there's a coach that sits right behind you and tells you use rock, yeah, that's pretty appropriate. If anybody has ever done any martial art or sport in their life, yeah, your coach is probably gonna remind you the most basic things when you're playing. Yeah, that's pretty normal, man.
Yeah, but my coach in tennis does not tell me to hit a forehand when I should hit a backhand.
Right, but you're correct. But I think that you misconstruct the entire thing. So you say just because there were some rocks that were not good, the whole coaching was bad. No, but let's talk about the vast majority.
Okay, actually yes, because my perspective from watching it was actually that the coach wasn't attempting to diagnose the problem. He just came and said, I'm going to do 25 minutes of telling them to rock, and there was no actual thought process or no there was I don't know intention. There was no intention to actually coach. It was just, this is what I mean. I think a gold player could have given that same session, because it didn't feel like there was any discussion about when it was good to rock. It was just rock.
That's where I would like David to jump in. I would like to ask David a simple question. Even when the coach Lies was telling you to use your rock, and then he paused for a second to talk, did you still forget to use your rock? And you admittedly said, "Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, my bad. You know, I should have used that, or I'd held onto it for a little bit too long." Did that happen or no, David?
But
don't we also verifiable?
Yeah, but don't we also agree that you shouldn't use rock off cooldown? Do we not all agree that the advice is actually fundamentally bad here?
Do we not just agree? Okay, no, let me. Do we not also agree that if there's a guy in my ear telling me rock, and then I feel bad for not using rock, even if it's fine to hold in that situation, that I will say in that moment, my bad, bro, I should have rocked, I should have listened to you.
Well, yeah, so Durpee, do you remember what we talked about before? And I said that actually what you were saying is correct, but there's a way to build habits. I'd like you to kind of jump in for a second, Durpee, here. Is Durpee AFK? Probably, right?
No, I'm here.
Bro,
So-
so really playing Wrecking Ball in the
Well, I mean, I kind of remember that argument, but I didn't really ever
Okay,
understand
so-
your point of it
so-
before the other guys
So
jumped
what
in.
I was saying is that yes, Durpee's advice correct. There is a quote unquote perfect way to use the rock. But before you teach somebody level 10 of how to use this rock in the best way possible, you first have to get to the point where they
Okay,
actually use the rock
Well,
before you
I would like,
teach it.
this is
them
where
how
I'd like to
use the
jump
rock
in and
correctly.
see how I interpreted this.
Yeah.
There's two specific examples that I can think of. I watched the video one time. I don't have it memorized. Actually, there's a few.
One with the soul. I remember. One
There's-
with the soldier
too.
on the stairs, and
One
one
with the
at
Orisa using
beginning of
gold.
the soul-
But here's the thing.
Wait,
Here's
that
the
was
thing.
terrible
Awkward. Here's the
advice.
thing.
Yeah,
Awkward.
Yeah.
Your coach. So it was Orisa and OT, and he had the shield perk. Your coach said we need to wait out the shield and then use rock. So like, you know, Game of Thrones, he waits out the shield and uses rock, but then the Orisa fortify, so it was a useless rock. So your coach lacks the understanding that we need to wait out fortify as well, or we need to look for a rock on another target when the opportunity arises. Not like a cross map rock. You're not gonna hit some crazy shit like in the spawn base
Okay.
and diamond. Maybe you will, but even if you do, it doesn't matter. It's a useless rock.
So these two examples were bad, right? Like he used the rock in like bad
There
way
are
two
also
times, right? Is that
opportunities.
correct?
There are also cases where you told him to rock, or not you, but the coach told
Mm-hmm.
him to rock. Like, I think it was in the spawn room. Like he was defending on first point, and he was kind of pushed up in their spawn, and he rocks. When there was a soldier mercy behind him, so when you rock, you're like very prone to taking damage because it slows your
Okay.
movement down to where your business
yourself
can
is seeing yourself on your rock and you just
Okay.
take a billion damage.
Yeah, you're like
now,
punishing yourself. when you
let me
should be-
respond to that, Durpee. Let me respond to that. So you gave specific examples that specific example 2, 3 examples of he should have not used rock there or
And we
using
could
rock
go
there
on. I
was
could
bad.
probably give 15 if I had the
Sure.
time to watch the video.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. No, you wouldn't. No,
I
you wouldn't
could,
because
I could,
watched
I'm
the
serious.
video.
Nah,
Yeah,
I
that's-
actually think 15
that's a
sounds like a
hyperbole.
reasonable number from the. I actually think it sounds reasonable.
Durpee, is there? So there's you need to make the distinction between bad and not the best. Can we
No,
make that
like
distinction?
like if he's like a rank higher up, he'll die for using rock there, and he'll lose the game because
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, so
like the guy you
wouldn't-
have
wouldn't
him,
find 15
the guy that
examples.
you
You wouldn't
hired to
find
coach
15
Sigma
examples. But that's
gameplay.
No, we
beyond the
is
point.
coaching.
we can.
Listen,
We
Yes,
could- I could go
you
through
wouldn't
for 30
find 15
minutes and-
That's beyond the point. Listen, Durpee.
Why?
The point is,
you're
you
the guy
remember
you
specific
hired and
moments
paid
where-
money to coach is not coaching correctly on Sig. You could get way better people to do it for less money. This guy doesn't know when to
Okay,
rock on
great.
Sig. He doesn't play the
Agreed.
hero.
Hadi
So
and
we're-
ChrisTFer.
so
Yeah, actually, just to plug my coaching right
Can I
here,
respond-
okay?
wait, Hadi,
usually,
can I res-
usually,
can I respond? Can I respond to Durpee?
No, you actually
Yeah.
can't because
Oh,
I
you
gotta
can?
do an ad read real quick. You can't for a second, okay?
Okay.
Usually, the people that I coach from around like 2 sessions, around 2 hours, climb a rank in the inflation of the season. So, if you guys want to hit me up with coaching in my Twitch channel, you guys can actually climb.
Okay. Durpee. So when you present, so my what I'm saying is that you said some rocks were bad or some rocks were not the best. But if you look at the vast majority of rocks or the majority of rocks, so however you'd like to use a hyperbole there, would you say that using the rocks most of the time actually got him value?
Yeah, but he would have like. It's not like he wouldn't have like. There was one where he.
Chris, there's gonna be your turn, man. I talked to Durpee. It's gonna be your turn. You can just jump in.
I
Come on,
think
man.
a lot of the rocks he got value out of, he didn't even have the coach in his ear telling him to do it. I think that was just him playing
Exactly.
the game correctly because he has a
Yes.
brain himself.
Sure.
Yes.
If that was the case, then in the VOD review beforehand, he would definitely use
No,
this rock. just like,
no chance. Okay, there is no chance. There was one where David rocked a Zen who was strafing backwards in a straight line, one-bopped him. I refuse to believe that in your VOD review last week, David wouldn't have thrown rock at him. I cannot accept that David can get to diamond and not rock an AFK Zen. I refuse to believe it.
Sure, Chris. Sure, he didn't. Maybe he would. The point is that he wouldn't have used this rock because that was demonstrated, Chris.
No
that he can
shot.
use this
That's
rock
true.
5
No
to 6
shot.
times
David was
in-
not rocking. Like was using it so little that there was an AFK Zen and he wasn't using it. There's no
Jesus.
David.
Chris,
you were better than that. Please, you were.
Hadi. Now
Yeah.
you have to jump in and say that Chris is now doing a straw man. That's
Okay, no,
exactly where you
awkward.
have
Let me
to
slow
jump
this.
with
Let
a
me slow
straw
this
man.
conversation down. I think maybe
Yeah.
you're right, but all you had to do is say you need to use the rock more, and then Gaming for Hope could have went into the session by himself without a coach in his ear, and he probably used the rock more and gotten a lot of the kills that he got
You
with the rock.
you could have even just
Hey.
had one Discord DM that just says, "Yo, what I want you to do for your
Good.
next rank game, David, is just use the rock off CD. You're gonna get more value. Plus, you will learn where it's wrong, and you would have actually gotten more value, including that last hit bet
Hadi.
in that sentence than from that one."
I'm willing to say yes that you guys might be absolutely correct, sure. But the thing is, it depends on the person. Some people you can tell them use the rock and they still won't use the rock, right? How many people you give advice to and they still don't do it, even if it's simple?
Okay, but Gaming for
many?
Hope's smart.
Probably the vast
Every session
majority?
he goes into is focusing on one thing. If you told him to focus on using the rock, he's probably going to focus on using the rock.
But I also, well, I mean, it's like a slight tangent. But you guys remember the one on the soldier, the one where the soldier was running away and he told him to rock and he
Underneath
rocked and the
the
soldier
stairs
got
there.
away. Yeah.
And stairs? Yeah.
The coach didn't even, unless I'm wrong, the coach didn't even say, "Oh, that was my fault. You should left click in future at that range because the rock's too inaccurate." He didn't even
Listen,
correct
but
it, right? He told him to rock and didn't correct.
Yeah, sure.
So he could, if he was doing his job properly, he would say, "Okay, that was my fault. Actually, in future, when you 1v1 in
Chris.
skinny heroes at that range, don't rock."
Yeah.
Chris, what you're saying, should have you said that? Maybe, sure, yeah, I'll concede that, sure. But the thing is that we focus on what happens on the vast majority. We don't try to drop every nuance every time something else happens.
But then you say we
focus-
don't drop every nuance,
Actually, I
but you
think
don't
I
drop
wanna jump
any
in here awkward with all-
nuance.
with all
Yeah,
due
No,
respect,
that-
actually, I think they may actually have a good point here. I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
in for a second, okay?
Sure,
so
sure.
I think where this boils down to is that I feel weird calling him lies because outside of context it just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, Lies is an exceptional coach in my mind. However, just like anybody, there is opportunity for growth. It's a growth in coaching, there's growth in the game, there's growth in whatever the case is. Now, I want to make sure, I think that the biggest thing here, and I'll keep using the specific example that everybody has cited multiple times at this point, where he said to try and rock the soldier that was literally, if I'm remembering the correct moment, he was in the stairs, second point, midtown, and there's no trajectory where that actually adds up, right? Now, I knew that in that moment, and I don't remember leaning back into that, if I actually called it out, but I remember in that moment thinking, why would I rock there? He's not going to get hit by that. So that is also, I think, equally on me to call that out and like, hey, so why would I rock there? Now,
no, you know what? Listen, it's not on you, David. So, the whole, funny enough, how this whole general argument boiled down to a specific moment where somebody could have done their job better. When did I argue against that? By the way, the beginning of this, I agree with Durpee completely.
The first thing you said is you came in and you said,
yeah.
"You think my coach isn't good?" And I said, "Yes." And then we
Yeah,
gave
but
an
you say my
example.
coach isn't good because
And
he
maybe
didn't
he
tell
is
him that
good,
he should
but
have
from
not
what I
used
saw,
rock
the
one time in
sample size I
25
saw-
minutes.
Yes.
Come on, man.
No, yes, actually, yes. The fact that he
Okay.
doesn't choose to give
Wait, you
nuance
don't-
or improvement during the coach means he's probably not good. I didn't. Okay, Durpee, answer this one. I'll ask a question to you. Did you see anything in this coaching that made you think he was a good coach?
I think there were a couple of halftime adjustment calls where he was saying, like, your positioning could have been a bit better, because I think Gaming Pro positioning could be a lot better, but he never really dove into it. But, like, if we're focusing on the rocks, I don't think so. I think Gaming Pro probably had a higher chance winning solo queue without the coach in the year than he did with the coach in the VC. I don't really think the rock
Can you
comms
demonstrate
were good.
that? Can you demonstrate that?
I just gave you a perfect example
How
where he
could
could have
you-
left-clicked
Man, I
solo
mean,
queue.
How could he demonstrate that? Is that what you're about to ask, Chris? Really? How could he?
Well, how could he demonstrate his
that? Is that what the question-
opinion? Like, how do you want him to do that?
I could
That's
go
what he
through the
thinks
video
he's
with
doing.
us. We could take 2 hours to watch it, and
Sure, dude.
I could pinpoint every single time that there was a bad comm from the coach. It would take the whole day.
Durpee, wait, David, didn't you get coached by Durpee before?
Okay, well, to
Yes.
be fair, my coaching
Oh.
was I gave him a lot at once. My coaching was not very focused, but if I were actually to do 10 sessions with Gaming for Hope on SIG, I promise you I could do a way better job than Lice 12K, and I would charge less money.
Well, I encourage you to. Dude. Like, by all means,
I
do
mean,
that.
I'd love to. I
Sure.
got the time.
Go help him out, bro.
Okay.
Sure. I don't think David would reject that, right?
I'm honestly just trying to be here and listen to what the hell's going on. If I can be even honest with the four of you, I'm so
you know what,
lost right now.
Durpee.
I mean, the thing is, do I sign myself up as a coach, and do I advertise myself that I'm going to coach that much? No, I don't, but Lice 12K signs up for this. So he should be doing a better job than me, not like the same or worse.
Well, he does a really good job. He does a really good job.
I'd gap this coach.
Yeah, well, Listen, Chris, you have your coaching session. I believe. Like, listen, you could be the best coach in the world, and if
I
people
was,
think that,
2022.
by
Chris was
all
the coach of the
means,
year.
I wish you all the prosperity there could be. Genuinely,
I appreciate
to you, Hadi,
that.
as well. But at the end of the day, results speak for themselves, right? And you can't say that somebody's a bad coach where hundreds of people ranked up because of him. You can't
But
really
we are-
say that. That
but-
would
but-
be
but-
that
but
I can
we are-
demonstrate.
And I don't know that
But
I'm
we-
actually the
but
best
we-
example of the
yes,
progress he's made in someone.
And we
No,
are.
I think he made
No,
great
and-
progress. I want to really hone this down. I think he's made really good progress. When I watch you play Sig, in comparison to last time I watched you play about, let's say, a month ago, it was a very big difference. That was a big difference. Big difference. Are you playing perfect? No, hell no, right?
No.
Because you wouldn't
No,
be diamond
no.
if you play perfect. But in comparison to how you used to play, way better, like significantly better. It's a noticeable difference, and you can look back at any VODs from about a month or two ago, and you will see how you play compared to how you play now. You would see a big difference. And Chris, you can watch that yourself, and Hadi, you can watch it yourself, and also Durpee can watch it yourself. And I encourage everybody to watch it.
No, but also like awkward. Like nobody has argued that he's a useless coach or makes people play worse. You know, nobody has argued that. Like, but we're saying probably
That's kind of like the underlying thing that you guys were saying the conversation. But
I mean,
Okay,
we were
well,
saying
I'm
that-
not saying
okay,
he's a
we were
terrible
saying
coach.
his
From our
coaching
sample
was
size, we saw
bad.
with the one video. It was not good.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yes,
we're saying
yeah.
his.
This
Yeah,
video,
exactly.
if all of his coaching is the same quality as this video, then I'm gonna say he's a bad coach. If the VOD reviews are better, then fair enough, And if that
I mean,
the results from, that would maybe
mean,
even strengthen our argument that the live coaching is a waste of time and the VOD reviews are
True.
valuable,
okay, but I didn't make an argument against that, Chris.
Well, then we're all in agreement. We're just having a good time
Well,
shouting at each other.
I think that we agree on 95% of things here. I think we like I never said that what Durpee's advice was wrong. I agree with him. I started off my sentence with when we talked before you guys joined. Hey Durpee, I actually agree with what you're saying, but my argument was before you teach a person how to use this rock correctly, like what is the best time to use the rock, the first step that needs to be done is for him to actually use the rock consistently. And then you make the adjustment,
What would all of the coaches in the
Okay.
call think of my proposition here? What if instead of focusing on rocks, we first of all helped him know where to stand and when to move so that he could have better opportunities to see the rocks for himself? Would that be a better way to coach? Because I don't know. I'm not a coach, but I feel like from what I saw in the VOD, he didn't really open that many opportunities. Like the first thing that we saw was out the gates. He's attacking. Wait, hang on. He's attacking first point midtown. I already explained this to you, but I want to explain this to everyone else. Out the gates, he's attacking first point midtown. There's a soldier standing top left in the building. He throws his shield for 3 seconds in the direction of that soldier, so he can't look at their sig to rock him. When he could have just put this shield right in front of him, taken half a second to put the shield down. Then he's focusing on their sig, and he sees the opportunity to use the rock, versus just oh yeah, you should have rocked there. It kind of changes his perspective on the game and then opens up rock opportunities. I feel like that would be a better way to look at it than just
I mean, yeah, that could be a better way of looking at it for sure. But if we're talking about the way of dumbing it down, well, not saying I'm not saying that just telling somebody use your rock more often, you're not using it enough, is not good advice. But we're saying it's bad advice to just sit in a 25-minute call and just say rock, 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 and not put in anything else. Probably everyone can agree with that.
What's the difference between using rock all the time and not using it at all? It's both bad, right?
No,
It's
because
not-
because it's easier to tone down aggression than build up passiveness in general. Way easier.
I don't know, I
It's
think
much more.
if-
It's easier to correct somebody doing something than telling him what's the best way to do it when he's never done it before or rarely does it.
I think if we have a Diamond player, someone that peaked in Diamond, or probably at the time of the rock coaching was Diamond, I think the idea that it's going to take us weeks of or multiple sessions, at least I won't misrepresent it, multiple sessions of just telling him that he just needs to spam rock, and then we're going to go through the period of talking about when it is. This period to get David's rocks is going to take 6 to 9 months, 6 or 7 months, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I think that
agree with
this
that.
progress has to be so slow if the first step for the first VOD review and then the first live coaching is zero nuance. It's just use rock more. If it takes us 2 sessions to get there, then how long is it you're gonna all we'll focus on today is rocking against X ult, and then there's another 2 sessions gone. And next thing you know,
Right.
David spent 76 sessions or 67 sessions potentially, depending on how many.
Gosh.
And
If you wanna look at this timestamp that I post in chat, this especially pissed me off. My main man David goes into the room, goes
Hadi,
for a
we're
rock.
past that,
No,
bro. We're past
No,
that, dude.
no, no, no,
Come
no,
on.
we're not, because
Oh, now it's
this is
okay.
what we're saying. This is what we're saying about the VOD reviews value. I'm just here sitting, watching this video back, and then I'm just like, okay, David's in a small room. Where's the Sigma? His rock can carry. That's what your coach says. He's right.
Yeah.
But in all of this, we're playing a Sigma v Sigma. We're almost 7 minutes in, and we have not mentioned the interaction between Sig Shift and Rock. And surely there's something that David could benefit from just saying, okay, you gotta watch out if we're using the rock for the 6 shift, we gotta be aware of our stuff. If they have rock, we cannot use our 6 shift and easy LOS to you. Like, surely that's like so easy to say, so
he's
easy
diamond
to
4.
say.
It's
And
not that
yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Like, he's not bronze
silver.
2,
He's
you
not.
know?
He's not silver. And he
He
just
must have a decent grasp of the
Yeah,
game.
but-
Like,
but Chris,
David
but-
must be able to understand these principles.
Sure.
It can't be too much. It's diamond 4.
What? Which what?
Like-
What?
Like the one how you just said, like David must in one session be able to grasp the interaction between rock and like Sigma shields and Sigma matrices and stuff
Sure,
like that.
but
It can't take 2
Chris,
sessions to teach a diamond
Chris,
4 player that.
When David showed up here, he said there's context. I've got VOD review before, there was coaching beforehand. When you go into coaching, you focus on like one thing at a time,
Right, but also to their point, right? And again, I'm not trying to take sides here. I'm honestly just trying to understand. All right.
Fair.
What I understand so far is that, to their point, I have to get my train of thought back. I'm sorry. Give me just a second. There's been so much going on. I'm trying to keep track of it all, but basically, the concern that I've just heard expressed is not that the rock is necessarily the worst thing to focus on, but that because we're keeping it almost too simple and
Yes.
not allowing for the nuances, that it's going to take infinitely more time
Yes.
to master one aspect of one hero in one rank.
I
And-
believe, David, you are far more capable of learning the nuances of rock. You don't need like a 1-hour baby session to just use it off cooldown. I think you can understand it quicker.
I understand. I'm with you.
I'm so confident of that.
I
have
appreciate that.
faith
I
in you.
appreciate that. Let me jump out here though, okay? I do. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. Let me finish my thought here. So my situation in my head here is I'm inclined to believe you and go with you on that, because I do think that I'm capable of getting to a higher rank. I wouldn't be trying if I didn't think that. And I have struggled to figure out how to go about it. I mean, I literally have like 8 hours a week to play the damn game. Like I don't have a lot of time, and in the amount of time that I have, I don't want to waste it. I've already wasted years.
True.
You're right.
True.
So it's like, so in October, ultimately, I want to make sure I provide a little context. I joined Rank Up Academy, honestly, originally, and I believe I've told Awkward this, that the original reason I did that was actually to create content about it, because I didn't think it was legitimate. I didn't. This is you guys can clip it and ship it. I didn't think it was legit. I thought there were people that were just not paid to necessarily show something that wasn't legitimate, but just that there was too much hype around it and that it didn't make sense. So
David, how
I
long
joined
have
it
you
to
been in Rank Up Academy now?
I'm sorry, say your question again.
How long have you been in Rank Up Academy now?
3 months.
Since October.
3 months?
Mhm.
Okay. And what was your progress in those 3 months?
We went from mid-plat to mid-diamond in 3 months.
Okay,
And keeping in
okay.
mind that I play, like I said, about an average. I'd give it 10 hours a week optimally. So we're talking about gosh, come on. Quick math, David. Was that 100 hours? Am I stupid? That's not right. That doesn't seem right.
10 hours a week. It's 40 hours a month, give or take.
Yeah, so 3 months, it's 120 hours, okay? So I wasn't actually too far off. In those
Yeah, 100,
120 hours, I would say that I have made more progress than I did in the previous 200. Now, whether it could be more or less, I think there's open an opportunity for nuance, which I think is where a lot of the arguments that I've been able to comprehend kind of lie. Where I don't think anybody's argued that there's been some progress, whether we want to say it's the rank or just the actual gameplay itself. I have watched my own VODs back from a year ago. I won't say 3 months. I'm not, again, this is, I want to make sure I'm super clear. This is not a comparison before rank up to now. I'm just saying, I looked at my VODs from last year. I actually made a video reacting to my own gameplay, and I physically cringed at it. Because I was playing Winton and literally not moving. Like, I'm just sitting still, not jumping.
Actually, gaming, just to come to that point, I watched the start of that video, and I was actually disagreeing with a lot of your self-criticism and saying that you're getting bad advice from the Rank Up Academy, because you were actually playing some of these fights in a better way than you were telling yourself to play. And it's just in Rank Up Academy, it's just aggression, not considering any hero, not considering anything. When I was watching that Oasis video you're referencing to, I was like, you have to play Winston a completely different way than Zarya. You were like, oh, I'm full HP here, I should just get in there, not considering that you don't have bubble, you don't have a good staging position. It's a completely different playstyle between being 80 charge and the fight on Zarya, or having Winston that's fully based on full CD cycle, you know, because Zarya is a very specific hero where you're gonna power spike up and then you're gonna do damage, right? When Winston is like really with the heartbeat of the fight on your CD cycle, and I was actually like, oh, my main man David might have learned something wrong from the Rank Up Academy.
Okay, so I think there's a way to maybe try and settle this so that we don't spend all of our time having this conversation. A minute ago, I say a minute ago, it's been a few more than one, but a little bit ago, we'll say, Awkward said something to the effect of, I hope he takes advantage of Durpee's mostly silly offer of like, I feel like I could do, I think you were saying a legitimate thing, by the way, but the offer was to take those 10 coaching sessions that was, I think, more sarcastically offered than legitimately offered. But I think that the way that this is solved is, I believe the crux of this issue is whether or not Rank Up Academy is the most effective use of both time and money that I've invested to rank up. Is that a fair summary of the majority of the issue that I've understood?
You kind of got onto that. The first thing that ever started this was just like me saying that what you were getting coached, or what the guy was telling you on Midtown was not good coaching. And then we kind of questioned that coaching.
And I think that contributes though to what I just asked, would it not? Like if he's not coaching well, then it would also slow down.
Yeah.
Would that be a fair? Okay, so it essentially envelops what Durpee has said. ChrisTFer, I don't even know if I'm saying your name right, by the way. I've always
you are.
Okay, cool.
That's fine.
Okay, great. And Hadi, would that question I just asked a second ago, the idea of whether or not a different coaching, whatever structure, person, etc. The concern is whether or not I would benefit more from the same money invested, the same time invested, with a different group. Is that a correct?
No. That's incorrect. Because I don't think we are. Yeah, sure. We are not trying to disprove Rank Up Academy. But you talk about this progressive bid. My argument, the whole argument, and this is the one where again Awkward will say in 5 seconds, yeah, but we agree on this, is that actually the progress you made from this live coaching was either none at all or potentially negative. You might have got worse from some of the advice that was given. It's super possible that some of the VOD reviews that are done, like you look over codes together, you might get tremendous value from that. Because, you know, I mean, we've all, like, everyone here has done coaching, right? Like, I've had coaching sessions where someone's like, that 1 hour, like, everything clicked, you know? And then some hours where it's not so good. That's the argument, is that this format, about this 25 minutes, because this is all we have to go out, I'm not convinced it's taught you anything. If anything, I think it could have taught you more. And in some situations, I actually think it's teaching you to go backwards, you know? And that's the whole point, is this live coaching, this focus on the rock, I'm not convinced is good.
Okay, I understand that. That makes sense to me. Okay, so essentially, which is quite common with the internet, there's a significant amount of context that is lacking before making a presumption. So but you have at least acknowledged that, which I give you credit for, because the rest of the internet won't do that. But I think that it's important to understand that where we're at right now is we've made reasonable, and I will be clear, I'm not disputing the observations, I'm saying we're making reasonable observations, but we lack sufficient evidence to actually conclude what you're saying, I think.
again, ish. I think
Ish,
the
sure.
argument that I'm trying to make, and I'm pretty sure this is the same, it's nothing to do with Rank Up Academy. It's not even necessarily to do with the coach, although I think it is a little bit. It's specifically to do with the format of coaching that you received here.
The
That's
live
it.
coaching
That,
format is your
yeah,
argument. Is
live-
that-
because
Live coaching and
it's so
the way
bad.
way
Yes.
he's focusing rock.
Yes. Yes.
Like the live coaching is an awful format. Plus the coaching in the live coaching wasn't very bad. Was just very bad.
What's your problem with the live coaching format?
They couldn't demonstrate it really. Besides nothing. Ask. Sure,
I mean,
answer the question.
I demonstrated
Demonstrate
it.
it.
I mean,
Please
I
do it.
told you.
I'm here late, so-
I mean, this seems pointless if you're just already saying we didn't demonstrate at all. When I was telling you that a reasonable
I would like to
guy
know.
can.
I would like
Yeah,
to know.
but yeah, I mean, my
I can
bad
do it.
thing about live coaching
Go on.
is that you have a lot of games that you auto win and auto lose. But Awkward just said that that's not true, and I firmly believe that opinion that you have a lot of games you load into a lobby, you're gonna auto win unless you troll, you're gonna auto lose unless you're the god of gaming.
But
So
that doesn't have
I'm
anything to do with the format, though.
I mean, it
Well, I
does
think it
because
does,
you're
it does.
potentially wasting. You have a, in
Yes.
my perspective, you have a 66% chance of wasting your time.
But
Whereas
what's the
with the VOD,
purpose?
you know what the outcome is, whether or
But-
not.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
It's
You know, you had a
guaranteed
good
useful
game to
VOD. It was
review.
close. Yes,
Wait.
exactly.
The Spilo's trying to jump.
Wait.
Okay, guys, pause. Let Spilo jump
Okay,
in.
sure.
He's been sitting here quietly for
I'd
forever.
like to ask one question. Wait, Spilo, give me one. I'd like to ask
that's
one
fine.
question.
It's
before I move on.
okay.
I promise I'll be
It's okay.
quiet.
Yeah.
That's
So
okay, that's okay.
so Chris and Hadi, your assumption of effective coaching is based on the result of a win or a loss. Just to get the question.
No,
To get-
no,
No.
it's of
What
a
you said?
The
close
quality of the
game.
game.
It's a
Yes.
yeah, it's exactly.
yes,
It's the quality of the game. Exactly.
Yes. If your teammates, like we had in some of our games today, are just running it down from the start,
Oh,
you can't
okay.
do more.
So
But
if
in
that's-
some games where there is enough moments where if you've done X or Y better and there's enough stuff that is so much more valuable a code than flipping a coin or rolling the dice, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
some games you can't some games you can't do anything, some games you don't have to do anything. And that, like, unless you're like one of the fucking best players, like 2 ranks plus above what you should be, then of course you can win like pretty much every game. But for example, like Chris is saying, when you're just playing, when you're pretty much the skill, maybe 1 rank above, maybe half a rank above, there's just games that you can't win, or there's games where you can just sit on the payload and do nothing, you know, and you're gonna win.
So the point here is that, like, if the quality of game is really bad, which there is a percentage chance of that happening, then the value of the coaching, the guidance is down the toilet, because it's either so easy that there's no effort given, or it's so incredibly impossible that there's like an emotional frustration factor and there's nothing learned from that session, correct?
Yes, that's half the
Yes,
argument, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, what's the other half?
The other half of the argument is that whenever you do live coaching, the coach himself has to demonstrate value, you know? And doing that involves talking, and it's almost impossible to talk during the Overwatch is too fast paced. I'm seeing so many fights when David's getting coaching and the coach is yapping in his ear and David didn't hear a word. I know for a fact, because I can see it in your eyes, you didn't hear, because you're focusing on left clicking or cleaning up spawns. So even
As a
the
placeholder,
words that even the coach's words aren't even heard. So that even Awkward can't deny, if you don't hear the words, it's not valuable, you know? And that happens so
Sure.
much. You get 12 seconds between fights. How the holy hell are we gonna demonstrate, like, explain concepts in that time, you know? Whereas if
So
we
let
pause
me-
it, as long as you want.
Finish with that. Finish with that.
That's it.
Okay, let me talk for just a quick second. Let me just give my 2 cents without interruption, if possible. So, I agree with all those points. Let me kind of explain where I have found value with live coaching, because I have found it to be a tool that has to be used very selectively and carefully. First off, I rarely, not never, but rarely do live coaching with the first session, because it's really important that there's an understanding gap. There has to be teaching. They have to understand the principles. They have to demonstrate. We have to demonstrate it. We have to review. We have to explain the principles and concepts. And so I agree that it is pointless to try to explain and teach during a live coaching session. It's almost impossible. Almost impossible. Okay. So I don't like that. So once you establish a level of, okay, we've had maybe a VOD review or 2, maybe a session or 2, this is where I have found the value of live coaching to be useful. And there's only one specific use for live coaching, I've found. And that is to help the player understand and develop the mind state with which to practice the skill correctly. Let me give you an example. And this is where this kind of answers the problem, like, how do you live coach effectively? What's the value of live coaching? I just did live coaching today, okay? This is with a student that I've been working with for some time. Coached him from Diamond to Grandmaster in support. We've coached him from Diamond to Master on DPS. He's just kind of jumping from role to role, trying to get Grandmaster in all roles. He is very familiar with off-angle, cover usage, cooldown management, and so on. Very familiar with all these principles. We don't need to teach him very much anymore. So what we do when we do this live coaching is we help him practice getting in the mind state of how to practice effectively, which, as Awkward mentioned earlier, is a kind of a single-minded focus. You go into a game, I'm not talking about the accretion focus necessarily, but you go into a game with a specific purpose of something that you're trying to train. So for today, we've talked about angles. His job was to take an angle and then behave differently depending on how many resources were thrown his way. Because when you take off angles in Overwatch, people push you. So what his job was to practice, take an angle, respond accordingly to what the enemy team does. And that's all we practiced. And so all the live coaching that I did really was prompting and encouraging him to discard any negative things that happened in the previous fight, or getting too egotistical because things went too well the previous fight. Basically, all I was doing with live coaching was prompting him. Hey, where do you need to be?
Focus.
Right, establishing focus. That's really what live coaching is all about, is establishing focus and helping the player feel. And the reality is that most players, when we do live coaching, are almost exhausted by the end of the session, because all I'm doing is going, where should you be? Where should you be? Or maybe it's an aim mechanical prop, cross your placement. Where's your cross here? Where's your cross here? I'm not teaching. I'm just forcing them to. Hang on one second. I'm almost done. That to me is the value of live coaching. It has to be used selectively. There can be no teaching or instruction. There can be no yapping. It has to be just simply framing. And for some people, getting the mindset of what that feels like to play with that level of intent and that level of focus is what they need to rank up. And I think. But that can only be done once the principles are understood. That can only be done once the principles are understood.
I have a context question for you, Spilo. Have you seen the Midtone video that we're referencing?
No, I have not. I've not seen any of the context of anything.
Okay, what I want to ask you, would you say it would be a useful resource of time and money to do a live coaching session and only say, rock, you should have rocked there, and just saying, oh, unlucky this fight, you didn't use the rock correctly, rock. Do you think that would be a good use of a live coaching session?
I mean, probably not, no, but again, I'm missing context of what would happen. So probably not, no.
I respect that.
I just want to say, by the way, though,
towards Awkward, because I want to ask Awkward a question right here. Yeah. I have somebody in my chat right here who seems really smart. He might have a PhD or something, and he told me it is scientifically proven that it's easier to learn something right in the first place instead of correcting a wrong behavior. What do you think about that? I don't have the papers to support this, so I might come back with the evidence.
That's a fallacy. I have a PhD is a fallacy. Just so you know.
No. I'm saying he might have a PhD because he seems really smart, right? So I think I can pretty easily and comfortably appeal to authority right here. So I think just having this message. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm making a joke out of what you said and what I'm saying.
I'm just playing with
so, yes. So what I'm saying is that you are telling that your coaching philosophy is to just hammer in one thing, and that's aggression, and then turn it down later. Seems to be scientifically disproven. Like I said, I don't have the evidence right now to support my claim, but I might come back to you later.
All right. What I want to say, by the way, is that I completely, with every single word that Spilo just said, I completely agree. Our live coaching sessions are never done in the first session. We always recommend doing them in the fourth or the third session, and it's exactly for the purpose of what Spilo has said, which is to kind of hammer down specific points, to play with intent, to make sure they don't autopilot, to make sure that people are actually implementing the advice that is giving to them. Because I think that if you've done coaching long enough, you work with a numerous amount of people, you know that one of the biggest things that happen to people is that after in the coaching session they might play well, or after the coaching session for a day or two they play well, but they tend to autopilot 3, 4, 5 days later, and they revert back to their old habits when things don't go well. Because they think that if they did not do well, it must be I am like what I'm doing is incorrect. When in reality, it's just maybe the implementation is not the best, but it's not like you're doing the incorrect things, but they're just not good enough yet. So I'll give you an example. So for example, if doing damage is the way on Ana is the way what you need to work on, and you're losing games, it doesn't mean that doing damage on Ana is wrong. It just means that perhaps you're doing damage at the wrong time. Maybe you forget to heal people. So instead of kind of toning down the aggression or looking how can I do the aggression better, they just completely revert back to let me heal bot. So what I want to say is I completely agree with everything that Spilo said, and that's I'm not gonna even argue against that, because that's actually the purpose of why we do live coaching.
But I think your live coaching is... Sorry, go ahead, Spilo.
No, finish, Durpee.
I was going to say, and I know Spilo's lacking the context, I just felt like if you had, like, yes, accurate live coaching is good. I can agree on that, but the guy in the VC was telling him to rock, but he was telling him to rock at the wrong times. It wasn't even like seconds off. Like, he shouldn't have rocked for 10 seconds, but you just tell him to rock. I feel like if you're going to do live coaching, you need to like enforce in his head the correct time to use the rock ability, and he was kind of just saying it every time that an enemy player appeared on the screen versus like...
Sure, Durpee, I agree with you. I already agreed with you that there's a perfect time and place to rock. You think based on what you've seen on the context that the coach should have told him how to use the rock, but what I'm saying is that we're not at that point
I think he was
yet.
trying
That's
his best to be honest.
Trying to best.
I think he was trying his best. I think the coach was trying to recognize enemy cooldowns and then tell him when to rock. I don't think he was just spamming rock every 3 seconds. Otherwise, we could have like done that without a coach. I just think he didn't have a good understanding on when to rock.
I actually disagree. I mean, I agree with you that he doesn't know when to rock, but I also saying that I think that's the only thing he was saying, just rock, and didn't even attempt, and also that way maybe showed that he doesn't know.
There were some examples though, like he was like, they use the shield is down, let's rock, but they still had fortify, so like your rock is, like he was mid fortify when he called him to rock, so I don't know. I think like we need to wait out fortify first at least.
If I can interject really quick here, Awkward, I think the criticism that I've seen like this, maybe if we could sum the disagreement here a little bit, is that where you've been rightly critical of me in the past, I think, indirectly, and nothing targeted, of course, about too much nuance, too much complication for players that just need simple fundamentals, and then we can kind of elaborate on here. Alternatively, sometimes people get the impression that with a lot of your services is that you will kind of boil things down to some rules that maybe don't have players thinking enough, or are rules that are not necessarily accurate. It's like that balance there, right? Where you want players to have simple principles and follow the simple principles, and as they get better. But if that leads to you just saying rock, not necessarily saying that's what was happening, but that's the impression. Where for me, it's the opposite. It's like, all right, let's think about angles, let's get you thinking, but then we start getting swamped down and bogged down with nuance, and obviously that's not good either. That's the criticism that you could apply to me, and I think this is kind of what the criticism has been for you, at least with this particular example. I don't know if I'm correct, but that's the impression I'm getting.
No, I get. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, somebody in my chat said what you said, Awkward. Quote unquote, we are not at the state of when to rock, and that it's just an in kind of what we've been saying. You're just teaching gaming just to press E whenever, and teaching him bad habits that are gonna be harder to fix later, instead of like acknowledging that Gaming for Hope, even just having a diamond peak in the past, is a good enough player to know that he can press the E button, and if he has made that mistake in the past, that it doesn't need a 25-minute personal vote to just say, yo, press your E off cooldown. Maybe just a Discord DM is gonna suffice.
All right, I'll respond first to Spilo because he said something first. And by the way, I totally get the criticism, and yeah, I did indirectly say, but it wasn't specifically about you. It was just, you know, whatever I saw on that day on YouTube or something.
Yeah.
It's too like kind of hyperboles. Too simple is bad.
Right.
Too nuanced is bad, and I agree.
Of course.
And of course, there's context to be made to specific scenarios. I'll tell you my philosophy, and I don't think anybody will disagree with that, unless you do. Is that first, with a player, you need to focus on what he needs to do right about 85 to 90% of the time, right? After he manages to do 85 to 90% of the time the thing correctly, or at the very least, he's trying to, then we can kind of boil down to the other 5-10% of the little nuance. Okay, when do you not do that? When do you not go there? Like, we can all agree going to the high ground is good about 80% of the time, but there's sometimes that high ground is bad. But first, when you see somebody that is not completely avoiding the high ground, only playing on the low ground, you first tell him, utilize high grounds more. Just, of course, I'm saying it super generally. Sure. After he uses high grounds more and then he dies or fights don't work out, you get to the point of, okay, you're utilizing high grounds. Why do you think this specifically did not work out? And then you say, well, because I couldn't see anybody. Well, if you couldn't see anybody, that's the time to drop from the high ground. You want to move somewhere where we can actually see enemies and have an angle on them. So I think there's no disagreement there at all. That's pretty much my philosophy of how I approach it. And of course, when you do. What we do, like in the academy, is it's not a one-on-one 1 hour coaching. It's spread out through the entire month, so people get weekly sessions. So it's easier to follow up on if somebody had a mistake with rock or any cooldown or off angles or CD usage. You want to see the progress in the first week too. Depends on how long it takes them because it's all individual, and then you make the corrections after that because the corrections are going to be completely minor in comparison to the general thing that you're trying to correct in the first place.
Can I ask you a question really fast here? So if this particular coaching session, I'm going to make some assumptions here. It's just like basically like we need to get David spamming rock, right? Just we need to get using rock, use it off cooldown, get comfortable with the art, get comfortable with the mechanic. What would be the
not a mechanic?
So just how to use it or how to aim it? Like what was the
I'll give the context.
Just
using
it.
Let him finish.
Yeah. Okay. So the context of this is that gaming has received a VOD review before, and in the VOD review in 20 minutes, he have used the rock 5 or 6 times. This is not an exaggeration. Right. That is the actual number. So in the live coaching session, we wanted to Coach wanted to make sure that he is actually actively using his rock. And even in the live coaching session, there were times where gaming completely forgot about it and we're just enhancing using the rock. Of course, in the session, you also talk about different things that are going to be the lead up of what expected next week, but they're probably going to work on next week. Because the feedback is usually given, okay, you saw how the rock was a game changer. I'm glad you're using it more. Did you notice that you didn't capitalize on the aggression? So you forced cooldowns and you didn't push. And that is pretty much a tiny hint where it's going next week. So now we're going to focus on you force CDs with your rock, or you capitalize with your rock, and then you push once you have the advantage. It's a simple example, yeah?
Yeah, so this was kind of my question, right? So the intention was to overcompensate towards aggression due to a bad tendency initially.
Yes.
With the intention of a week later, whatever, to start to educate those decision makings. And I think the criticism from Chris and Hadi has been that timetable doesn't make sense. Your path makes sense, but I think the criticism.
Unless David wants to go bankrupt, then it's perfect.
How much money do you think that this costs? Like, I'm not trying to be arrogant here.
David, I'll answer that. How long do you think using this timetable is going to be before? Like, what happens after you learn to use rock 7 weeks down the line? Then we're going to talk about positioning and shield.
I don't think it's going to take 7 weeks.
But it has to. It has to. If all we're able to do in the first 2 sessions is spam rock. If it takes 2 sessions to say spam rock, then all other progress, which is way more difficult and way more nuanced, is going to take longer. This is the simplest step, and it still took a 1 hour VOD review and 25-minute live coaching.
It wasn't a 1 hour VOD review, but alright.
No, how was the VOD review?
Like 15 minutes.
Yeah, maybe 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Okay, so it takes 1 hour to learn to just press E. Even at that time frame, I'm going to be like 67 by the time you figure out how to use the rock in every situation.
You've got to stop using this meme. It's hilarious and all, but come on.
Also, if we're not worried about the money part, at least we should be worried about our time part, Time
is money.
I think the reason why he joined is because he was pretty much concerned with that. Correct me if I'm wrong, David.
I'm so sorry. I was reading the 4 chats I'm trying to keep up with too.
They're saying, like that coaching session was not valuable because aren't you valuing your time? I think the reason why you're Rank Up Academy is because you value your time, because you've been stuck for a very long time beforehand.
Right. That was.
I think that's pretty.
Yeah. That's why I stayed. Yeah.
Well, I think also, like, Chris and Hadi, I think that nobody's pointing a gun to David's head or telling him to stay or
That's
join.
true. Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
And if he wouldn't find value, and he, correct me if I'm wrong, David, you tried many different coaches and something stuck with you. And I'm sure that a lot of people, that could try coaching with me, and then would go coaching with you, Chris, and they would stick with you more. Or Spilo or Hadi for that matter. It's all good, but for some people, your philosophy sticks more. For some people, my philosophy sticks more. That's completely okay. We have an open market, and everybody can choose. Nobody is held at gunpoint to be with me or be with you.
Speak for
Agreed?
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to jump into the awkward silence there, and basically say that I think that and I think an area that I can probably assume safely we'll all agree on is that people learn differently. Everybody has a different learning style. Consequently, also, different coaches have a different coaching style. Now, understand me, I'm not getting into the rocks nuance. We're not going to stay stuck on this. I think we all actually fundamentally agree that there was some opportunity for growth in the coach's side there, myself included. Okay? I mean, I outright the example that was used, I've acknowledged that yes, even in that moment, I'm like, why would I use rock there? I'm not going to hit him. Like, why would I do that? I think that generally we agree on that, so I'm moving past that. When I actually talked about this recently, I don't remember when or what context, but it was brought up, and this idea of different students learn different ways, different teachers teach different ways, and finding the teacher as a student that will teach you well in this space is very there's a huge opportunity for it. There's a lot of incredible coaches out there that each have different approaches, largely to what Awkward was just saying. And I found that over the course of my time receiving coaching, this spans way back, by the way. I got coached by a person that doesn't even coach. It was just somebody that was higher ranked than I was by a significant margin. I was silver at the time. This is a GM player. And I'm like, okay, I could probably learn something from this person. But I even say to that person to this day that I didn't learn much from him because of his teaching style. It had nothing to do with him. It had everything to do with just an incompatibility. It wasn't even a personal issue. So, to the effect of length of time to teach something, it is both the teacher and the student who is responsible for the length of time that takes. And for me, in that session, while yes, there was a lot of use rock, and some of those were like, why are we doing this? One of the things that I think about with that is, okay, but I wasn't using it at all before. Like it
can't be true.
Huh?
That cannot be true.
At least in the VOD, I wasn't. And
yes, maybe that was
David,
David.
I'm sorry. I refuse to believe you hit diamond with E unbound. I just refuse to believe.
Okay, well, actually, I can tell you exactly why that happened. Do you want to know?
I would love to know.
Zarya. Zero hesitation. I don't play SIG that often. Seriously, if I pull up my career profile right now, I'll screenshot it. Hear me out on this, okay? If I only play 40 hours a week and I play 30 of those on Zarya, that means that by default, Sigma gameplay is only responsible for 25% of those. And then consequently, that the Rock is also not responsible for even 5% of the rank up. My point is, you're asking how in the world would I have gotten to Diamond? Well, earlier you also implied that there was rank inflation that would have gotten me there as well, which is very possible, and I'm open to that. But that combined with the fact that Zarya, my SR on Zarya alone is Master. My SR on Sigma is Platinum. There is a disparity between
Let's
the two.
not talk about
Hero
SR in this, please. We're having a very organized discussion.
I know. That
Let's
was just meant to be more of a joke. Anyway, so seriously though, I'll stop joking around. I'm sorry. I'll focus.
I just didn't know if you were serious.
No, of course not. Thank you for asking, because rage bait and what it is. But anyway, seriously, all joking aside, I don't think that anybody would argue that my Zarya is infinitely better than my Sigma, because I have more hours on the hero. I've had more time.
Yeah.
I've had more. Like, there's no arguing that. So to that end, you're asking how would I have gotten to Diamond? Again, rank inflation notwithstanding. How would I have gotten to Diamond? It's because I play Zarya 70% of the time, and I do pretty well with her. That is.
I agree. I love your Zarya gameplay, by the way. I want you to know that I'm
shit,
very
Chris,
jealous
have
of
you
your
seen
aim,
her?
unironically. Okay?
Yeah,
But
Chris is
I'm
actually.
not even joking. It sounds like
yeah,
I'm actually fully serious with it. Okay? But
Okay, I'll take it.
okay. But we need to take context about how outrageous what we are saying is. Because we are pretending that even if your hero SR is plat on Sigma, or whatever it is, or you clearly win some games in Diamond on Sigma, we are pretending that you didn't press E ever.
Okay. Let's
That's
be
what
clear.
we're
Let's not use
pretending. We're
superlative
pretending.
words. That's
Yeah,
fair.
but that-
I shouldn't use superlative words. That's on me. It wasn't not ever. It was 6 times in 20 minutes.
Yeah, in one
and I
game,
think that's
right?
pretty dang close to the same.
No,
right?
no, but there is no way some of these rocks in that VOD, David, where the coach is going, yeah, that's why we use rock, baby, on a standing still Zen. There's no way you weren't pressing E there. In no way. Unless you were genuinely bronze at Sigma.
He
There's
would.
no way.
1 out of 6 times on AFK.
No,
fucking,
no, that's a lie. That's
Actually,
a lie.
all
You
6
have
of those times was a Zenyatta. You just weren't there for it.
What,
But
what comp? I guarantee the comp you played against was like some like annoying comp where like there wasn't rock opportunities, but tons of these rocks that you were getting value with, and the coach was going, yeah, baby, rock central. There's no way you weren't using that rock before the coaching. I refuse to believe you left click as Zen is walking. I refuse to believe you're not rocking him. Sigma's matrixing in front of you. You're gonna rock, you know? The one where you got it down the hallway and you killed the Kiri, you were always rocking there. There's no way. I refuse to believe half of the good rocks you would have done before the coaching has to be true. You cannot convince me it's not true. Otherwise, how the fuck am I still in Masters if that's the state of Diamond where you don't even press E?
So
That
all
can't be
of this
true.
argument is just a projection, Chris. Come on, man.
No, I'm serious though. There's no way.
All of this it's a little bit personal, man. Nah, but the thing is, Chris, it's not. So what you're saying is that in other VODs you might have done better. Yeah, and that could be the case. But the thing is, there's an underlying issue. Okay, maybe one time it's six times 20 minutes, and other times, okay, it's 3 times in 4 minutes. Generally, the issue that is reoccurring that he does not use his rock enough. Maybe one time it was extremely never using it, and sometimes he used it like 60% capability. Sure, I mean I'm willing to concede that point. Sure, but still it doesn't
Maybe
mean
70.
it's still. Sure, but it still means that he isn't using his rock enough. Whether he does it 6 out of 50 times or 35 out of 50 times that he could have done it. That's the point. But I think if he's using it 40 times out of 50, we wouldn't mention that it's a problem. That's my point.
I don't know. I don't know. I just can't believe that. I feel okay. Okay, David. I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna speak the truth. Okay. I hope this doesn't offend
Be
you
brutal.
when I say
No,
this.
be brutal.
Okay,
I'm not.
okay.
You are gonna have a hard time offending me. I exist on the internet, and people think the wildest shit about me. You're not gonna
You are
offend me. Go
based.
ahead.
I hate the woke people too, David. Okay,
That's
me and you.
not
Okay.
what I said, to be clear.
But that's what I'm saying with chest out. Okay. Anyway, okay. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. Is if Awkward and Rank Up Academy think that you need an hour of coaching to just press E, they must think you are so terrible at the game. Like, that's what they have to think, because they think you are so incapable of even the most basic concepts that we need to teach this guy who's mid diamond, that he needs to press E every 5 seconds. Even like he can't even understand how it interacts with Sigma Matrix. That's too far for David. That's what Rank Up Academy must feel, but that can't be true. There must be a better way here.
What? I'm gonna throw you a really big curveball here. What if it was true? What if I was literally not rocking? Like we've said, just trust me a little bit here. In a VOD, You don't know all the again. You've already.
Watch your
alluded- let me-
streams, David. I promise you have more hours on Gaming for Hope stream than 90% of people. You need to know I'm always there.
So
you
I've
were
heard.
not using
True,
rock.
we're always there. We're always there.
Yeah, they're in the walls, dude.
I-
But I seriously, like, I appreciate it, but like, in all seriousness, you're probably in the examples that you have seen, there is a legitimate statement that you're making. You're saying that from what you have seen in the immense amount of hours you have watched my streams, you have seen rocks where it's like, okay, yeah, that was a good rock. He clearly knows how to press E. Well, not even good rock. Not okay. Let me. That was a poor phraseology on my part. Let me correct that. You have seen me press E. We'll just leave it at that simple, okay?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, clearly he knows how to do that. And the concern that you have is, you've seen all of that. Why is my coach coaching that? Because my coach saw 20 minutes of gameplay where I only used rock 6 times. You, on the other hand, watch. You get the advantage.
Thousands
of
of
watching
hours.
Okay, no, yeah, okay. Then
Thousands.
here's the question, David. How do I know you better than the coaches you pay?
Which is a totally legitimate question. Maybe
why I
because
asked it.
he's got. Well, here's the flip side, okay? Because this is a reality you have to think about as a creator. You get the advantage of the fact that part of your time, and if I'm not mistaken, a good majority of your time is spent live streaming and creating content. His time is spent coaching. He has more than just me to coach. So when he is coaching, he's not watching my stream on his other monitor. He needs to be focused on the person in front of him. He is not just coaching. He is not just VOD reviewing. He is not just live coaching. He is consistently looking over clips that are submitted. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes well beyond what we talked about, that I am confident he's responsible for more than that. And of all the people in the world, time is something that I do understand, and it is important that we understand that your scope of what you do on a day-to-day is different than his. So he doesn't have time to sit and watch my stream during Q.
I mean, first of all, okay, Chris is a Masters prodigy. He is a Coach of the Year on a OWCS team, and he has a tennis Grandmaster. Just to back out Chris right here.
That's true.
Okay.
Also, I do tons of coaching too. Just so you know, I do tons of private coaching.
I would like
Then
to
that's
present a
probably
question.
fine. But-
I feel like maybe this entire time we've been too focused on this one single VOD where you threw 6 rocks in 20 minutes. And I think what some people are getting at is that they've watched your streams even before that live coaching and seen you use the rock ability more often. Gaming for Hope, you could, I don't know you're going to answer this question, you could say yes, you could say no. Do you feel like you're too focused on that one VOD and maybe your coach is too focused on that one VOD for you to require live coaching where he just tells you to spam rock and that's all he does? Or do you think like your pattern, like the games you've played over the last 6 months on SIG before that coaching session, do you think you just didn't use rock at all? Like, would you agree that that's looking outside of just that one VOD?
Of course if we look outside that one VOD, but that's the key point. He doesn't have the time to, is kind of the crux of what we're talking about right now. But I will say, here's the flip side of this, okay? Here's the flip side of this. This does not require more than the 3 brain cells we all have running around in our heads right now, okay? This is, very simply put, he has just that one VOD to go off of, but I also had the opportunity to say, wait, why are we focusing on rock? I know how to use rock. Why are we... I know to use rock. I know that you saw the one VOD.
Yeah,
Did you know going into that live
you have
coaching?
way less
Hadi, I have a
responsibility in
question.
this situation than your coach, you know?
Did you know, did you know going into that live coaching that the whole focus would be rocks? I'm just curious. Or did you think it was going to be like a general live coaching? You
I
didn't know
figured it
was
would
gonna
be a continuation from the VOD, which was rocks, yeah.
So he opened up
So
and
that
said,
is-
today we're
he-
just going to be focusing on using rocks. And then you didn't say anything. You
What
were
he
like,
actually
okay, that
said
sounds good.
in the very beginning of it, I actually posted it from the beginning when I first jumped in the
when
call.
you joined the
with it.
call. Okay.
Yeah, so at the very beginning of there, if I'm not mistaken, now my short-term memory is cooked by TikTok, all right? So it's very possible that I don't remember this perfectly, but I seem to remember it being strongly along the lines of, I'm going to give you guys one fight, I'm going to watch it as usual, and then I'm going to give you some pointers from there forward.
Yes, and okay, so
Now-
that's what I understood. And then I watched that first fight, and I think your rock usage was maybe 5th place in line and like what you could have worked on. I think
Agreed.
the target that you looked at was probably your first problem. Your shield was terrible. If I was coaching or if somebody else was coaching, and we weren't just focused on rocks, I think we could have went in a whole different route than just focusing on rocks. I feel like that was maybe the 5th thing we could have looked at off the first fight.
So you're just saying there were better priorities, correct? Which has
Yeah,
been,
I
to be fair, I've understood that's been a consistent theme. I'm not quite that clueless.
So like if he was going to hone you down on one thing the whole game, maybe it could have been like, who are we looking at? Where is our crosshair placed on?
Target
What is
priority,
our shield
yeah,
doing
that
for
kind of
us
stuff.
right now? Because I feel like rock management kind of comes along when you learn all of those things. You'll be able to use your rock more and find opportunities for it more. So if we were just looking at that first fight, I would be like, hey, you looked at that soldier for too long. You threw your shield all the way to him. We could have just looked at their SIG, put the shield in front of us, and then we would have found a better opportunity to look for something like the rock. But
Right.
what is going on there? Who's doing that?
Every time Rock is said, I'm ringing a bell. Just FYI.
You need to watch
so-
that video. You need to go watch that video and do that. You need to watch the coaching session video and do that.
We've
Honestly,
officially
Spilo,
received
I
a
know
rock
you're not a
counter.
drinker, but if you went and took a
I'm
shot,
taking
every
a
time that I
shot.
said rock, we would be
Yeah.
toasted in 5 minutes. All right.
Yeah, basically.
yeah.
Let me interject really fast
Go
because
for it.
I gotta roll. I'm losing brain cells at this point. So the way that I say it, I'm gonna be honest with you, perfectly honest. Okay, I'm not super familiar with your gameplay, David. To be honest,
Of
with
course.
You. But
No,
from
it's
what
okay.
little bit I have seen, you struggle with the quality of playtime and quantity of playtime. Let's be honest, right? You don't have a lot of hours.
Yep.
And you read too much chat. You get too frustrated, and you don't put the level of intent into the games that you probably should. Okay.
Yep.
So
Yep. It's
I
good
have
criticism.
always been like kind of given the impression that you just need somebody to just say stop what you're doing and keep bubbling yourself and keep doing damage. Stop freaking overcomplicating it. Stop just doing it. And so I think the argument here is I don't like the coaching service format. I'm not planning on ever using it myself for many of the reasons that have been brought up here. Okay. And we're not going to sit here and talk about whether the rock was good feedback or not. I'm so freaking tired. Okay. I'm so freaking tired of hearing that. Okay. But if with you, it's always been, you just don't play with intent. You just don't play with intent. You just don't get the amount of hours. And if that's what Rank Up Academy has helped you with, then fine, sure, so be it. Because it's not just about like new information, it's about somebody and you're basically telling you what to do. Now, I don't know if that Rank Up Academy is doing that, and I don't know if it's the best way of doing that because I don't know. But that's always been, I feel like, your problem is that you just glaze through the game without really a lot of intent, and that's why you've been plateaued for as long as you have. You've had 15 trillion different coaches, 15 trillion different feedbacks, 15 trillion different ideas, and none of it's stuck. The problem is you and the amount of training time that you've actually put in the game, the quality of training time, and that's just fine. Like your father, you've got work, you've got other priorities, right? So that, to me, the debate kind of needs to stop and end there. It's like, is the format allowing you to actually train with direction and intent consistently and giving you enough feedback, good quality feedback? If the answer is no, then it's just no. And if the answer is yes, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
See, that's why I think Rank Up Academy probably works for a lot of players, is because all those players need to do is to stop, like what Aqua was saying earlier, is just start doing damage, you know? But that just doesn't necessarily work for everybody, so, but...
No,
That's a
I think you
hyperbole,
have a
I hope. That's a hyperbole.
But I will be honest with you guys, like, this conversation about the rock is like completely pointless. Like, okay,
Well, I was trying to open it up and say that
it
it doesn't need to be about the rock. I'm agreeing with you. He needs
It
to,
doesn't. It really doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah.
The reason when the rock is the thing is, it's the number one is like, is it good to have something practiced brainlessly without intent and just to overcompensate for a problem? I mean, obviously, like, I believe you if you said that you're not using rock, so it's fine. But it needs to be more about like the principle of like a coaching service versus having a coach, the principle of live coaching versus file review, and that's pretty much it. So that, yeah, I've said my 2 cents. I'm gonna keep ringing the bell, but maybe I might have to head out in a second here.
You're good.
So about the rock, guys. About
Let's
the
talk.
rock.
Let's start talking about the rock. Let's start talking about the
We
rock.
need to talk about the elephant in the room. That is the rock.
Spilo said, I'm out, dude. I can't do this anymore. I don't blame him. Okay, so, but I do think that I'm going to speak to that because that was a really good call out. One of the things that I have struggled with the most and have admitted multiple times is I struggle to maintain focus. I don't know if it's like a legitimate chemical imbalance and I'm like legit undiagnosed ADHD or what it is, but I do struggle to stay focused. I think that also is just a problem.
You gotta hop on the Peach Vibe, like, while you're playing.
Bro, I got 2 of them. I'm locked in tomorrow, dude. I literally bought them. We're rocking, dude.
We're gonna run it.
But
What, the
in all-
Celsius?
Yeah, the
actually
Celsius
pretty
Peach
good.
Vibes.
They're pretty good, yeah.
They are pretty
I
good.
need
Every
a
time
white
you guys-
monster. I
every
need a
time
white monster right now. I need a
Every
white
time I'm in the US, I get so many packs of those.
They're
Not
so
an ad,
good.
by the way.
Hadi, if you look over here though, I've got the camera on and we got the white monster.
Yeah,
dude,
let me
I'm right
see.
there with you.
Oh,
So
I'm
anyway,
probably good.
I guess to come back to kind of the crux of what Spilo said, because I think that's a very valid criticism, and it's something that I'll take on the chin because it's completely valid. I'm working on finding quantity, but quantity is not the primary issue, I don't think. And even he seemed to agree with that. I won't speak for him. He's not here to agree or disagree, but I do think that that's a valid thing for him to point out, is that the quality and of my focus is split in multiple ways because prior to Rank Up Academy, I didn't have a consistent focus in stream. I'll use a different one so we don't have to keep saying the damn rock, okay? My bubbles on Zarya were egregious for quite a while. Like, it was like predicting spam damage, walk around the corner, use bubble before I've walked around the corner. It was super bad, okay? My bubbles now versus before, when it was pointed out, are not perfect, but infinitely better. So, to that end, I'm not even gonna say the word. I'm gonna go to bed and I'm gonna have nightmares about Sigma's accretion. That sounds weird when you say it like that. Anyway, full pause. We're moving on. So I guess the point I'm making is that I think that I have been the problem. I don't know that there's ever been a point besides when I'm tilted and flaming teammates, which every single person in this call has done, and every person who criticizes me for doing it does it, but they just aren't live streaming, right? We all understand that at the end of the day, the best way to improve is not worry about your teammates. You have to worry about you. I don't think anybody here is going to disagree with that. But it's also, as a creator, especially, pride gets in the way. You want to defend yourself, like, oh, I played perfectly, but no, you didn't. Like, and I know that about myself. I won't point at all the rest of you and point at me. I know that I am the core of this issue, and I have to fix it, and I have to have a focus. And until
I believe in you.
I appreciate that. And then before I got into, and again, I'm not saying this is specifically because of Rank Up Academy. I'm just saying that is the thing that changed for me, where I had a focal point every time I went live. The running joke in my chat now, which is not really a joke at this point because I understand I'm being serious, is what is your focus today? What are you lurking on today? And I think Hadi, hell, I think you even asked that a couple times. What are you working on today? It's right now, it has been using rock. Today, I didn't play, I think I played one Sigma game, oddly enough. Zarya wasn't banned, and which is wild. Zarya is so strong, I was really surprised she hasn't been banned as much. But Sigma, when I get on Sigma, the focus is to use my rocks, but it's not as much now for me. I'm not speaking for Rank Up Academy on this, I'm speaking for me. It's not as much about spamming rock, as especially after Durpee and my conversation yesterday, as it was and is refining and looking for that opportunity when I have it, which is what this evolves into. When you're using rock enough, okay, you're using it, but why did you throw it there? Okay, well, that was stupid. Okay, well then, why did you? And again, like one of the, I think it was Durpee, I'm pretty sure you mentioned I rocked a fortified Orisa because it was encouraged to be spammed out, right?
Yeah.
So again, I'm not going to get into whether or not Lives is a good or bad coach. I'm not here to make that call. I'm not. I don't actually think I have the qualifications to make that call. Okay?
Need to
But
vet it.
What's that?
All good, all good.
But what I will say is that since I've been in the academy, it has given me the opportunity to have a focal point every single day. Now, whether I could get a better focal point from another person, there's always opportunity for that, and I'm open to that criticism. That is part of why, when Hydran reached out as an example, it was like, okay, sure, we'll give it a go. And he actually pointed out some things that for me, I was like, oh, okay. Damn, that makes sense. Why was I not thinking like this before? And I don't know. I don't want to monologue. We all do that for a living. But I don't think that the criticism from one time is fair to the guy. I'm gonna be honest. I think that just as like a person, it's a lot of what the internet does now. We see one thing and we see it over and over. Granted, right, in the video for a longer period of time, but even in the what was the video, 25 minutes, something like that, somewhere. I don't even remember. In that video, that's a one-off circumstance that you have seen. You have not seen anything else from the guy. You've not seen or heard the VOD review before. You didn't see the game. I don't even remember if the game was, because I think ChrisTFer, I'm pretty sure you mentioned something along the lines of maybe we were playing into a comp that wasn't good to be using rocks into. There's obviously that opportunity, and I think that's valid. By the way, I don't
whole
remember
defense,
the
by
composition.
the way. The whole defense, if you didn't use rock at all against Ryan, he can't swing you. It's actually way better against Ryan to play with 0 rocks than spam the rocks. But I
Sure,
digress.
With
Also,
shield
you
up,
gotta
you're not gonna
think-
get any value out of it. It's just gonna
also-
do a small amount of damage. I understand.
Yeah, also you gotta think about the enemy Sigma shift because it's more important than shield or anything, you know. Also you gotta think about the enemy Sigma flux. At least know that it's coming after you use rock. That was like said now in like, I said that probably in 15 seconds, you know.
Sure. And I think that saying it once and then leaving it alone to a large degree makes sense. But what I'm getting at here is that I think the core of what I'm saying is still fair. You guys have seen one thing from him.
I understand.
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
And I think that if that is what you want to base your entire understanding of
No.
one person on, that's fair.
Of course not. Not trying
But-
to do that.
But that's kind of my point. So give him the chance to two things.
But-
One, prove whether or not he actually is as bad of a coach or whatever the term would be.
We can
that
get
you
him
use.
into the call.
I don't think that that's needed. I don't think that's
He can vote my Winston, and if he finds any criticism, I know he's a fraud.
True.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm not gonna argue with you there. But the other part of that is giving him the opportunity to grow, because unlike the rest of us, he doesn't have the accolades and stuff that several of you do, right? And
True.
True.
do we want to gatekeep somebody from coaching just because they haven't been in OWL or OWCS? No, of course not. I don't
But-
think either of you would argue that. But
Okay,
giving him the space to grow, I think, is important.
but here's what I think, okay? I actually think even if he's a good coach, I think it's almost impossible to coach effectively in that format. I'm a pretty good coach, okay? I'm one of the
Coach of the year.
Okay, one of the top on planet Earth, okay, if I say so myself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, yeah.
I
Toot
did
your
live
own horn, my
coaching.
guy. You're good.
I did live coaching. Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard to figure out, like, in the
Skill issue.
moment that. Yeah, we'll see, mate. We'll see.
Maybe
Skill
not.
okay?
issue, Chris. Skill issue. If you
Yeah,
find a
yeah.
hard time finding
But
mistakes,
your
that people
mate
like,
found it
it's a
hard
skill
too,
issue, Chris.
awkward.
Okay,
Your
listen.
mate found it hard too.
I think this live coaching, and I'm gonna say rock again 20 times. I think this live coaching, if we were focusing on the rocks, which we were, you could have done a better. Sorry, he could have done a better job in this instance. I'm not discrediting him entirely as a coach, but he could have been like, oh, they use shield and fortify. Look for a rock on the Orisa. Like, just real fast. Like, you know, maybe you don't have to say all
Yeah,
of that,
very
but
easy,
something along
very
those
easy.
lines.
We
Or like,
already
walk up and rock
we
those
already went through
in.
this like 50 times. We already went
Let's
through
get
this.
into it one more time.
I'm just saying,
Just
because
one more. Alright, surely this
now I'm
time
picking on the
it'll
live
work.
coaching.
I've been quiet. I've been wanting to hear Chris finish your thought. You're about to say something.
No, so what I think is if we could take this heated, spirited debate amongst friends. One thing, Rank Up Academy, David, offers you, instead of doing a live coaching, to do a VOD review session. I think next time, please take the VOD review session. That's what I say, okay?
Honestly, that's
Get a
something
good
that I was
code
planning
and
on
do it.
doing anyway, because the scheduling has been a pain in the it's been a pain in the ass. I'm off stream. I'm good. I don't care.
Fuck it.
It's
Fuck it,
is-
bro.
Yeah, real, yeah, just let it out,
We
dude,
can
right?
say what we want
Right,
here.
get it
It's
out.
Durpee stream.
Right. So, but no, in all seriousness, like it has been a scheduling issue for me because his time that he has available to do a live coaching is not. It's usually when I'm at work. So, sorry, I should censor that word before all the chats get triggered.
That was a good one.
My bad, guys, my bad. But seriously, that's, it is super important that I actually get more value out of it. And actually, after this conversation, what I am choosing to take away from this, however long I've been hanging out with you guys, which, by the way, thank you for the invite. I get Jesus. It's been when? Oh, that was when you added Hadi. I really thought I'd been here for 2 hours. I'm like, oh my god, it's been an hour and a half though, so not much better. But in this hour and a half, what I'm choosing to take away from it is that I actually do agree with you that the live coaching is actually not it's not the best guarantee of value versus a VOD review, based on the conversation we've had. I've never understood, and I'm not going to get into this because we could spend the rest of the freaking day talking about this next point, but I've never understood the game is auto loss, game is auto win. There's people who think that that's complete bogus. There's people that think that's completely legitimate. And there are equally credited people that agree, like that say those two opposite things. So I don't
Anyone
get into
that thinks it's bogus is stupid.
Agree.
Okay,
Some
cool.
games are lost. Absolute
Sure.
lost.
I will tell you, there are times where I feel that way, but it feels way more than 10%, which tells me I haven't quite got that figured out yet. So
I say
it is-
33. That's why. That's why it feels more than 10.
Oh, because it is. Okay, got it. But in all seriousness, I think that is where I get back to where it's like, I need to probably do VOD reviews. Just number one, scheduling was, and then now, like, after hearing this, there's a lot of sense to it as far as, like, I know, like, after the game, and this is true of when I self-VOD review, like, I try not to, I've learned recently, I'll say that, and I mean, like, in the last week, that I need to not be worrying about my gameplay in the game. I need to focus on the one thing I'm focusing on, sure. Focus on the game itself, but don't worry about, that was a bad this, or that was a good this. It was, nope, do that in VOD review. Focus on just the next fight. What's going on in the game? There's too much going on for you to be worrying about it. So, I guess I get more value out of a VOD review because I know for sure how the game felt. The game's over.
Agreed.
It's behind me. I can now say, okay, this game, I feel like I should have been able to win, but I didn't. What happened? And that question can be more effectively answered. We can almost guarantee it's one of the, Hadi, I think you said it's 33% that are auto loss. Let's say that it's 33% on the other side, which, what is that? 30, well, the quick math, 33%.
Exactly.
67.
60. Okay, this guy. Anyway, so
Actually true.
we get that, like, 40%, we'll just say, that are games that are decided by the skill. Okay, just in this again, I'm not arguing whether or not it's true. I'm just saying in the hypothetical that 40%. You're guaranteeing you're going to get value from it because you can look back and say, yeah, that was one of those 40% games where I genuinely feel like
Exactly.
I screwed it up and I could have done
Exactly.
better. So I understand it. That makes sense to me, and I'm with you on that end of it. How's that for a summary?
I love that, David.
Sounds
for you.
great.
Absolutely love that.
I'm here for you. Glad I could help. Okay, I actually have work to go do. Oh, good. There, I did it again. My bad. But is there anything else I could do to help this conversation?
No, you did great, man.
You've
Had
done more than
great
we could
having you
have
here.
possibly asked.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thank you for joining,
all of
David.
you, enjoy the rest of your day. And
You
thank
too,
you
bro.
for inviting me. I appreciate it.
We'll
Thank
do
you
it
for
again
being here.
sometime.
Yes.
Yeah, I will. I will try not to work too hard. I'll talk to you guys
That's
later.
the spirit.
Have a good one, man.
Bye.
See ya. All right, Durpee.
Yeah.
Let's talk politics now.
That was a fun convo, you know. If
I
something was a
live
fun
for this,
conversation.
guys. I live for this, okay? Let's do it more often, guys.
Since we're at this topic, Durpee, why didn't you invite me ever on your pod?
Did you see my chat room when you were in the call?
What?
You were looking at my
What?
chat room the whole time.
When did I look at your chat room?
You were just in there the last 2 hours.
No, I joined about 30 minutes ago just to spam emails.
You
I'm
made
not
it
really reading what they're
easy.
saying. They're spamming.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Well, I think you just
Yeah.
got yourself on an
What-
episode right there. I mean,
Oh, is that a
it was
pod?
about
Yeah,
a
but
2
I'm
hour.
saying, why? Even though I saw people post comments for you to invite me, can I ask you genuinely, why didn't you invite me?
I'm not getting into why you're not invited on the podcast. This is a Gaming for Hope coaching discussion.
Why am I not invited?
I didn't invite anybody. Nobody on this call made an appearance in the podcast.
The thing about Chris is not controversial at all, right? I get why I'm not invited, but I'm curious as to why your perspective. I could be wrong, you know. I could be wrong based on my assumption. That's why I'm curious, you know.
We will not be
I mean,
getting
Chris
into
will
why
be
you were
getting
not invited
invited.
onto the podcast. This is a Gaming for Hope improvement session only. We will not be derailing.
Do not
Okay.
derail, Awkward, okay?
All right.
If we have no more to say that would benefit Gaming for Hope, I myself will probably leave the VC as well.
It's getting spicy. All right, let's do it. Let's call it a day. Let's call it a day,
All
Chad.
right. See ya, lads.
All right,
Alright.
next
Everybody have a
week,
good
same
one.
place, same time, okay?
Let's get some more VODs from Gaming for Hope uploaded to YouTube. Let's get some VOD reviews.
True.
Be good material. Alright, goodbye.
All right, good night, chat.
See ya.
Bye bye.